Well, they just started playing This Is The One from Stone Roses. You heard from Dean Holden earlier. That was what was going to get him going. He'll be in that tunnel just outside the dressing room, away to our left. When you heard him talking, you knew there was emotion in there, proper raw emotion. We all know, we've all supported football clubs, and we've got that deep in our hearts. It's probably the only lifelong love we have that you can't shake. You can't divorce them. You can't get rid of them. No matter how badly they treat you, you still love your football club. And Dean Holden is exactly that man. It must be, I can't imagine what that's like, but he has to just put that aside for 90 minutes and possibly penalties this evening. He will want them to lose tonight. It's going to be such a weird feeling for somebody who is still a season ticket holder at Manchester United as the teams make their way down that little tunnel with the artificial turf and out onto the pitch. Officials first. Harry Maguire leading out United. Tom Heaton behind him. And George Dobson, centre mid for Charlton, leading them out onto the pitch as the subs and staff make their way down the side of the pitch as well. What's really interesting is you will have noticed over the years on TV that when Eric Ten Hag comes out, or whatever Man United manager comes out, there's always a United official alongside him who walks in from the tunnel to the bench. Well, that man is Russ. He's the cousin of Dean Holden's dad. This goes deep, really deep. Charlton fans, they've had it tough with underachievement on the pitch and chaos and worse off the pitch. But football's about moments, it's about memories, and tonight could be one of those nights for Charlton. It's a big ask for their Man United supporting manager, but this is like a home game for Dean Holden. So can Charlton make that home advantage count? Let's find out on Talksport with your commentary team, our former League Cup semi-finalist Mickey Gray, alongside Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Adrian. Good evening, everybody. Sometimes, just sometimes, it's best if someone just leaves the family and goes and does their own thing. The last thing a big institution needs is someone hanging around like a spare part. Go off, make your money, let them move on. It's better if you don't do a big interview and air your dirty laundry, but, you know, you can't have everything. Manchester United have almost had everything since Cristiano Ronaldo left the building in the aftermath of his explosive Piers Morgan rant. 5 wins since they exiled him to the desert. Old Trafford may be a crumbling, dated palace, but it's also Manchester United's castle. And boy, have they started to defend it. Tonight they will take a step closer to the Carabao Cup crown if they can win a 9th straight home game here. Well, if United are the princes, then Charlton are the paupers, seeking new investment again. They appointed their 4th manager in the 18 months since parting with Lee Bowyer, and they sit mid-table in League One. But the prize is huge, a first major semi-final since 1947. And their new manager, Dean Holden, no stranger to these parts, being a season ticket holder, has just gone all the way down the length of the touchline to the scoreboard end away to our right, where 8,800 Charlton supporters are bellowing, singing and lighting flares. He's clapped them, he's cheered with them, he's risen his fist to show he is on their side tonight and desperate to make history with Charlton Athletic. Manchester United have made 8 changes. They've given a debut to Kobbie Mainoo, the 17-year-old who won the Youth Cup with Manchester United last season. They start with Tom Heaton in goal, only his 2nd Manchester United appearance. The right back, Dallo, Maguire, Martinez and Malacia make up the back 4. It's Fred and McTominay in midfield, with Mainoo behind Garnacho, Elanga and Anthony. For Charlton, just the one change, Ashley Maynard-Brewer, their goalkeeper, who has taken over number 1 duties from Joe Woolacott, who broke his finger in November and was the penalty hero in the last round. He's come back from concussion. He's between the sticks away to our right. Claire Innes, Lucas Ness and Steve Sessegnon on the back 4. Morgan and Dobson, then Fraser behind Rack, Saki, Leeburn and Blackett-Taylor. It's white shirts and black shorts for Charlton attacking the Stretford end in the first half to get us off and underway live on Talksport tonight And it's red shirts, white shorts and black socks for Manchester United, who are attacking the scoreboard end in the first half. The ball is way out on this left-hand side, picked up by Corey Blackett-Taylor, who jinks into the penalty area, looking for a ball nudged in towards the near post and looking for Lee Byrne. It's cleared away, so we'll go off to a goal in the Papa John's Trophy. Cheltenham against Salford. The completely Suzuki Stadium is the venue for Ian Danta.
It's Cheltenham 0, Salford 1 on 14 minutes. Cheltenham made all the early running, but from Salford's first corner of the game, Callum Hendry swept in after an initial header was blocked on the line off the chest of the goalkeeper, Luke Southwood. Hendry getting his second goal of the competition, back from a ban, and Salford in front. Cheltenham 0, Salford 1.
The last time that Charlton came here and stopped Manchester United from winning was 21 years ago. That year, Manchester United won nothing. Something, Mickey Gray, that has become a bit of a trend here and has to stop.
Yes, evening Sammy and everybody, absolutely. 5.5 years and counting for Manchester United. Last success in this competition, 2016-2017. It's something that certainly has to change at this club moving forward at the moment. A lot of changes in that starting 11 for Manchester United tonight. And what a brilliant one it's going to be for Kobbie Mainoo in that midfield area. Harry Maguire just having a little quick word with him just to settle his nerves, but yeah, I hope it goes well for the young man.
McTominay spreads it wide towards the Manchester United left, dancing into the penalty area is Garnacho, comes back to Dallow, edge of the area, free shot on goal, which he skies over the top of the crossbar, right from the edge of the 18-yard box. Left-footed, running onto it after it eluded Anthony after a brilliant run by Garnacho down that left-hand side. He's full of dazzling footwork. He pulled it back through the penalty area, and Dallow really should have done better. Goal at Bolton, Steve Hoffersall.
Bolton 1, Portsmouth 0. It came from a Portsmouth corner, but Bolton on the break. Charles with the pass, Bodvarsson with the finish. Bolton 1, Portsmouth 0.
Portsmouth having a great old time at the moment, aren't they? I was down there the other week and watching Charlton actually beat them by 3-1. And they're losing in the Papa John's Trophy tonight as well. There are a number of Papa John's Trophy playoff games this evening. Here in the Carabao Cup, the quarter-final stage for the right for a two-legged semi-final berth. It's Manchester United against Charlton elsewhere, Newcastle against Leicester. Both these games now underway. We're 2.5 minutes into this game at Old Trafford. Remember, only Arsenal and Manchester City have won more games than United this season in the Premier League. Their cup form's been pretty good too. And Erik ten Hag well aware that the League Cup is the best route to silverware this season. Here is Mainoo, nudging it back. Only 17 years of age, playing in Manchester United's first team for the first time today. About 10 yards outside the area that Charlton are defending. He gets it back into midfield. It goes to Maguire, then Martinez, then out wide to the exciting Garnacho. On towards Fred, but it's out of play. And it's away for a throw-in in the right full-back position. Charlton have a huge following. It's the club's biggest away following in over a decade, and according to those who know their club well, probably, Mickey, their largest travelling contingent for a midweek cup tie ever.
It's incredible, isn't it? Absolutely, and why not? If you get the opportunity to come to a stadium like this, which didn't actually look like it was going to be a full house before kick-off, but it's not far away from it now, Sam, I have to say, and they actually started the game very well, didn't they, with Blackett-Taylor down the left-hand side, got himself into the area, half a chance for Charlton, but then what a chance for Man United and Diogo Dalot. I mean, there should actually be a goal up. I mean, he's got to hit the target first and foremost.
Ball collected by Mainoo in the centre of the park, and it's worked its way through to Anthony Elanga. Mainoo trying to get hold of it, but it's a good challenge by Sean Clare, who's wearing a face mask after a fractured cheekbone. The ball headed away by Maguire as it's kicked upfield by Charlton, just right of the centre circle. Dobson tries to win it. He pokes the ball forward, and it's collected now by Scott Fraser. His ball forward to the left-hand side is cut out by Dallow, and a chance to counter-attack for Manchester United down the right. It's Dallow into Anthony. Anthony trying to dazzle his way past Steven Sessegnon, who manages to swipe the ball behind, and out for the first corner of the game. It's a Manchester United corner.
Well, they're up for it, Manchester United, no doubt about it. They've started the game very bright and very sharp, certainly trying to get themselves on the front foot. One great opportunity, good play from Garnacho down the left-hand side, beating his man, this time Anthony, who I want to see more from. He's a big signing, but I think his goal ratio has to be better, and certainly his assists, because he has got the ability.
Nearly 5 minutes gone, you're listening to Talksport. It's Manchester United 0, Charlton 0, live on Talksport tonight. On Talksport 2, we've got Newcastle versus Leicester. Download our app. You can flick between the two commentaries. Jim and Adrian Clark doing that one. That's a terrible corner from the near side. And Malacia's delivery ended up going to a white shirt rather than a red one, and then when the ball came back from Manchester United, Malacia was in an offside position. Mickey was a little bit concerned about a late challenge that was inflicted on him on this near touchline by Steven Sessegnon. In the end, Malacia came away unscathed, and it's a free kick down in the left full-back position for Ashley Maynard-Brewer, the Australian, who was part of the Olympic squad actually a year and a bit ago. Dean Holden, who wants his team tonight to be incredibly compact. They haven't got loads of mobility in midfield, so they'll try and keep tight distances in that trio between Fraser, Dobson and Albie Morgan. The two wingers are in great form right now. Raksaki over on the right-hand side and Corey Blackett-Taylor on the left, and the press is on here as Tom Heaton touches the ball to the right, and Dallow takes no chances, tries to clear. McTominay is beaten to it. Dobson went ratting around him. The ball is flicked away towards the edge of the Manchester United penalty area, and Harry Maguire just hoosts it over the halfway line. And then there's a bit of pressure for Ryan Innes from Anthony, and he juggles with it and kicks it out for a throw-in on this near side.
What a tempo to the game. Absolutely superb. When they get the opportunity, Charlton, they are breaking forward in numbers, trying to make something happen for themselves. It wasn't so much of a grimace, Sam, for that challenge that we saw about a moment ago. It was proper old-fashioned. I absolutely loved it. Two players committed. Brilliant challenge.
Garnacho, brilliant bit of skill to second past Clare. He then leaves Clare on his backside. He comes back infield onto his right foot, into the area, right-footed shot, flashes across the face of goal, and skies behind and out into the scoreboard end away to our right. First real sight of goal in the game, and Alejandro Garnacho, whose last goal was that dramatic winner against Fulham, has already lit up this stadium a couple of times.
I think it's going to be a really difficult night for Sean Clare in that right-back position, Sam. Garnacho started the game absolutely superb. One opportunity, just misses the far post. Another chance when he put a great ball into the area for Diogo Dalot. But I'm pleased to see this because the last 2 or 3 times I've seen him, he's just lost his way a little bit, which he can do. He's still a young man learning his game.
2 goals and 3 assists in his 14 appearances this season for Alejandro Garnacho, the Argentine. Scored winning goals against Fulham and Real Sociedad earlier in the campaign. Manchester United have started with a bit of a vibe about them tonight, bit of intensity, and Charlton have not been shrinking violets. It's been a good 7 and a bit minutes here live on Talksport this evening. Carabao Cup action for you tonight and tomorrow night. Southampton Man City is our focus tomorrow evening, and Forest Wolves is over on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Then Thursday night, big Premier League game for you, only on Talksport. Here is Garnacho into the area, trying to jink his way past 2 or 3, then shoots towards the near corner. And take a little deflection. Well, the referee, who is Jared Gillett tonight, says no, and it just scoots past the right-hand upright as Ashley Maynard-Brewer looks at it.
Well, Harry Maguire's played about 2 or 3 diagonal passes across to that left-hand side to Garnacho. He pulls this one out the sky, and again, he gets away from Sean Clare, gets himself into a decent area. It's a corner, actually. It should have been a corner. There's a deflection. I'm not too sure it was hitting the target, but should have been a corner kick for United.
Crikey, we could see that from here, and Jared Gillett was standing right behind it. Manchester United 0, Charlton 0. You're listening to TalkSport. 9 minutes gone. Manchester United, who have been built on a solid defence. They've kept 8 clean sheets in the league this season, second only to Newcastle, and it was only a David De Gea mishap that saw them concede against Everton on Friday night here. Here is Mainu picking the ball up on halfway from a little tuck-in field by Anthony. It's out wide towards the right. Now Dallow takes over. Fred has made a decent run, but the ball isn't decent, and it's too far ahead of the Brazilian, and it drifts behind and goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Bristol Rovers is our next destination. The Memorial Stadium is where Ian Abrahams is tonight.
Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 1. Ben Waine has just headed in the goal. Lovely cross from the left-hand side on a really heavy pitch. Didn't matter 6 yards out when he climbed to head home. Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 1.
So in the EFL Trophy playoffs tonight, Lincoln 1, Accrington 1. It's Bolton 1, Portsmouth 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth 1, Cheltenham 0, Salford 1. And in League 2, 24 minutes gone at Valley Parade, and it's Bradford City 0, Rochdale 0. Here it's still goalless. Anthony Elanga's just strayed offside as they tried to play him in down that right channel. Scott McTominay was searching for Anthony Elanga, who's struggled a little bit in front of goal. It's interesting to see him playing as an out-and-out forward. Mickey, we've probably got used to seeing him coming in from the flanks, but he has not scored in any of his last 30 appearances in all competitions.
Well, that's a huge surprise because he's definitely got the ability and the pace and the quality to get by full-backs, and he's certainly got an eye for goal, but it's a bit of an alarming stat, isn't it? I mean, with balls played through like that from Scott McTominay, it's going to be 31 games because he just basically got too much on it, McTominay. You could see it before he played the ball. He got his head up and just got too much pace on it.
Maguire away, under a bit of pressure. And it's cleared up towards the halfway line. One back by Scott Fraser, who combines with Corey Blackett-Taylor on this left-hand side. Dallow wins the ball back for Manchester United, and then Fred tries to take it up towards halfway. He's in the midpoint of his own half, taps it to his right. Kobe Mainoo, who's settling into the game now after an erratic start to the match, and you would expect that. Nervous teenager, 17 years of age. Although he did play in that Youth Cup final. You were here for that Youth Cup final.
I was.
And there's more people at that Youth Cup final than there is in here tonight. Here's Alanga down the left-hand side, trying to get towards the corner flag. Tucks it back towards the far side. Picked up by Garnacho. Into Fred. Fred takes it on. Plays it square. Into Dallow. Back to Fred again. He's about just outside the penalty area. Plays it towards the left. Fred is then dispossessed by Dobson. Crunching challenge right on the edge of the box, 6 yards out. And it goes out towards the far side and they build again.
You see now the game's settled down a little bit, Sam. Well, Man United are on
Garnacho, lovely ball round the corner. Malacia into the box. Freddy's in about 20 acres of space. He shoots towards goal. It's blocked by the head of Ryan Innes and shoved out towards the far side.
What a chance. Man United just going through the gears. Great little pull back to Fred there. He had a lot of time, but what a challenge from Ryan Innes. Putting his body on the line. Very brave. Kept his arms by his side. Oh, absolutely superb.
They all got sucked into the goal mouth though, didn't they, the Charlton defence, and that left Fred free on the edge of the penalty area. The corner from the far side from Malacia is ballooned.
Well, that's two now, Sam. Think about the corner on the right-hand side. He didn't get it off the floor because it looked like he was just about to kick the corner flag. It got in his way. This time he's tried an outswinger, and he's just got it completely wrong altogether. I don't even think the ball actually came into play. He's got to improve. So poor.
You're listening to Talksport, and we're live at Old Trafford. I did mention that there was more people at the Youth Cup final than there is here tonight. 67,492 at the Youth Cup final. There's a lot of people in here tonight, but I think there would have been more at the Youth Cup final.
Yeah, it's close.
It's going to be close. We'll find out later on. Should we have a bet on it? No, don't. Here on the left-hand side is Corey Blackett-Taylor. Out towards the near touchline. He tries to pull the ball through the 6-yard area. It's spoon behind. It's out for a corner. The first of the game to Charlton Athletic, away to our left-hand side.
Well, what a start for Corey Blackett-Taylor. Over on this left-hand side, he's had a couple of little 1v1s with Diogo Dalot. He's got the better of him. He's certainly got the beating of him for pace. That's something that Charlton have to work on. Get the ball out to the left-hand side and let the young man create opportunities.
Corner kick then to be taken over on this near touchline. And it's going to be Albie Morgan who drifts this one in, right-footed, deep towards the far post. Heaton comes, gets a good punch on it ahead of Clare. It comes back in by Dobson, and on the floor and scrambling around, Tom Heaton, who isn't the biggest goalkeeper, manages to grab hold of it, and he's bowled that out brilliantly to Garnacho, who's taken it down. He's beaten the defender. He's running towards the edge of the box now. Pokes it in towards Alanga, left side of the area. Needs a bit of support. Garnacho's got it back again. They slide in and try and take it off him, but still United have the ball. It's Mainoo on the edge of the area. Ilanga with a shot, hits the back of Fred, and it's cleared away eventually by Raksaki out towards the far side, but still Manchester United have the ball, and all of a sudden the referee has stopped proceedings because he thinks there's a head injury at the other end.
Well, Raksaki just made an absolutely outstanding challenge inside his own 18-yard area to stop that attack from Manchester United. It's one of those, if you get it wrong, Sam, it's a penalty all day long. But that's Man United going through the gears yet again, whereas Charlton now are just sitting back a little bit. They're getting everybody behind the ball. They're making it difficult for United to break them down, and they're just waiting for their opportunities. And as I mentioned before, Blackett-Taylor on this left-hand side looks a real talent, and he's certainly causing a lot of problems.
Talksport live at Old Trafford on a wet and windy Tuesday night. The best chance of the game going Manchester United's way with the effort from Alejandro Garnacho. George Dobson's had a shot on target. The collision involving Clare and Heaton has left Clare needing attention. Now, he's already got an issue with his face because of an earlier injury, and the Charlton staff just going through a concussion protocol to make sure that he is okay before allowing him to continue. You're listening to Talksport. Erik ten Hag has already won the Dutch version of the FA Cup in the Netherlands and was a runner-up in it last year. The swiftness of the route to silverware in this Carabao Cup is attractive to all the managers that want to win something. This is United's third game in the EFL Cup, that's all. Win this and it's semi-final time, and one step before Wembley. Newcastle United pressurising Leicester at St James's Park. A shot just fizzing past the post for Bruno Guimaraes. They played 15 minutes there over on Talksport 2, and it's Newcastle 0, Leicester City 0. If you want to listen to it, it's available via our app. You can flick between the two stations. Manchester United have the ball again, and it's restarted on halfway with Harry Maguire. Comes back out towards the right hand side. Dalot back to Lisandro Martinez, and Manchester United looking to build from the back. There's been another goal at the Memorial Stadium. Ian Abrahams.
Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 2. Long ball over the top for Ryan Hardy to run on and finish with aplomb. Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 2.
Going well again, Plymouth in the Papa John's Trophy, doing so well in League One this season as well. Been a good campaign for Stephen Schumacher. Here on the right side, the ball is with Anthony. Infield it goes to Dalot, back towards the edge of the area, and McTominay does well to hold on to it. Dalot sent down the right, he's by the byline when he produces a cross into the box looking for Garnacho, who's sizing up an acrobatic effort, but he knew it was just getting away from him, and Jessurun Raksaki goes out towards the far side, gets fouled eventually by Malacia, who's taking no prisoners tonight, and Garnacho was involved in that as well, and it's going to be a free kick to Charlton in the right full-back position. 0-0.
Well, he's been involved in everything good. Garnacho from Manchester United, and it just looked for a moment, a split moment, Sam, that he was actually going to try, well, more of an overhead kick, bicycle kick if you like, from a position where we know that Wayne Rooney scored an absolute world beater from against Manchester City, and then he just pulled out of it at the last moment, whether he got a shout from his fullback. Malaysia was just behind him, and I thought the chance was on.
There was an opportunity for Manchester United, but it just seemed to just drift over the top of his head. And he was sizing it up and then thought, no, I'm not going to reach that, so I'm not going to try it. Morgan going down the right, tried to get away from Fred. Fred seemed to leave something on him. Referee said no foul. And it's a play on. Lisandro Martinez to Malacia, left full-back position. Manchester United trying to get out of a tight spot, but they're pressing high up here, Charlton. They're applying themselves really well in the opening exchanges. We've played 18 minutes. It's Manchester United 0, Charlton 0. The Charlton are in the game, Mickey Gray.
Absolutely. They've been wonderful. They're shutting down, or the press as they call it these days, is very good. They're going in 2s and 3s. They're waiting for Man United just to play that little short pass, and they're in the right positions. They're making it difficult for United to play around them. And then when they do get the ball, they're actually trying to get themselves into good areas now on the right-hand side as well. But it's just that ball into the area, because they've got to try and get some service into Leeburn, because he's a big lad, holds the ball up very well, but he'll be getting frustrated of no service.
Yeah, Dad scored against Manchester United in 1994. Carl Leeburn, he was a hero for the Addicts. And Carl Leeburn will be watching on, hoping that Miles Leeburn manages to come up with something tonight. Although, when Carl Leeburn scored against Manchester United, they lost 3-1 Charlton Athletic. And they'll be hoping for a slightly better return tonight. They are a bit raw. And they look to hold their shape much better since the new manager came in. They're very compact. They'll look to break with pace, and they've certainly got a bit of that. The wide man can cause anyone grief, and Leeburn is a real handful. And Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez are finding that out. I mean, he's much bigger than both of them, isn't he?
Well, so I was just thinking exactly the same thing, Sam. If you're playing from the full-back position in a Charlton perspective, Leeburn has to drift across to Lisandro Martinez because of the height difference. Martinez had just given him a little shove a second ago, which could have easily been a foul. They got away with that one, but you've got to play to your strengths. You know, if that's where the position is, where your centre-forward's going to get more joy than playing up alongside Harry Maguire, then you get across there, you make it happen.
Leeburn standing next to Lisandro Martinez and Tyrell Malacia. Looks like he's one of the kids from the high school that have gone down to play with the kindergarten boys. I mean, they are so tiny in comparison. He's absolutely dwarfing them.
No, it's completely right. And everybody thought, would it work as a centre-half? Well, you have to say so far, yes, it has. There's only a couple that I can think of, games-wise, where it's really caused Martinez a problem. He's just an outstanding player.
Maguire, long raking ball out towards the left-hand side, and Malacia has chased that well and taken it in towards the left wing position. He's moved up towards the 18-yard box that Manchester United are attacking. 0-0 the score. On to Fred, who drifts infield, sends it wide towards the right. Anthony takes it down, left footed, drives it towards the far corner. What a terrific goal. Doesn't do much, Anthony. Hardly had a kick in the game. But when he does wander into centre stage, he usually produces a killer line. That was a cracking finish from the Brazilian. Scored on Friday night, and he's on the score sheet again. Manchester United are in front, and Anthony has his 5th goal in United colours.
Well, Sam, I tried to pick the bones out of that. It initially comes from another diagonal pass again from Harry Maguire. That's 7 or 8 he's played now, and they haven't worked it out. Dean Holden's got to try and get some help to his fullback over in that right-hand side. But when they switch play, again, you can question in the left-back area, is he closed down enough? Will take nothing away from the goal from Anthony. He does exactly what he's supposed to do, works it onto his stronger left foot, and it's a super finish. Gives the keeper absolutely no chance.
Right on the edge of the area, cutting in from the right-hand side onto his left foot. He arcs the ball out of the reach of Ashley Maynard-Brewer into the top corner, and Manchester United have the lead, and it's taken just 21.5 minutes.
And the problem that Charlton have got now, Sam, is they have to try and take the game at some point to Manchester United. And the back of their heads, they'll be thinking or worried about United getting the second goal, because if they get the second goal, I think we can all sit here and agree that it'll probably be tie over and United going into the semi-final. That's what they've got to worry about, but it's just waiting for that one opportunity. But play to your strengths, as we mentioned before. Get the ball up to the big man, get the ball wide, and let's give him some service to try and get yourself back on level terms.
That was his 22nd goal involvement in his last 37 club appearances for United and Ajax.
Yeah, but I still want more, Sam. As crazy as it sounds.
He hardly gets involved in the game until he gets involved in the game. And when he gets involved in the game, something happens. Here he is on the ball again, moving towards the edge of the area. He's got out to his right, Mainu, and then Fred to his left. He shifts it on to his fellow Brazilian, and then midway inside Charlton territory, Sandro Martinez starts to work the ball forward. Garnacho takes it on now, moves into the penalty area. He's got a little bit of support from Malacia. They're taking their time here. Dallo moves in from right back into Malacia, gets it back again into the centre, looking for Anthony, comes back to the edge of the box. Ilanga hits it. It comes off the hands of the defender Innis and goes back out towards the wide left position. Garnacho gets hold of it again. That was a bit of pinball wizard inside the Charlton box. They're coming in forward once more. Dallo's now over on the far side, the left. It's in by Malacia. Anthony's underneath it, putting pressure on the fullback, and there's a clash of heads here. And the referee will stop the game and make sure that Anthony and Stephen Sessegnon are both okay.
Yeah, well, they could probably do with a breather for a minute and a half or so, Charlton, because at the moment they're all over the place. Over on that left-hand side, what a move from United again, getting themselves, worked it so well into the 18-yard area and pulled back for Ilanga. Yes, he was on the volley, a side volley if you like, made great contact with it, again blocked and cleared away, but as that ball then comes back into the area, yeah, it's never nice, is it? Anthony and Sessegnon both down on the ground. Hopefully they're going to be okay, but a clash of heads had to stop the game.
Elsewhere tonight, Lincoln 1, Accrington 1 in the EFL Trophy playoffs. That game got underway at 7 o'clock at Sincilbank. At the Uni Bowl, Bolton 1, Portsmouth 0. Bristol Rovers are behind at home to Plymouth by 2-0, and Cheltenham 0, Salford 1. All those games in the Papadron Trophy playoff situation tonight. And in League 2, Bradford City lead Rochdale by 1-0. Anthony has come off the pitch, having received attention. He's going to be allowed back on again. Dean Holden just trying to organise his troops down in front of us. Obviously a resident of these parts on usual occasions. He's back down in London now. He's working with Charlton, but he spends a lot of time in Manchester, and that's why he's quite comfortable in just a shirt and a very thin jumper tonight.
He's braver than us sat here, isn't he, Sam? But I can imagine the adrenaline running through his veins. I mean, what an occasion. Just absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Not that I'm saying that it's not in ours, but, you know.
The adrenaline's always coursing through our veins every time we bring you a live football match on Talksport. We absolutely love it, although we do wear a lot more clothes than Dean Holden, that's for sure. We've got the full garb on tonight, haven't we?
I always have. I was just going to mention, Sam, looking at Manchester United's 11, now, is it kind of a shop window for those players to say, right, I want to be a part of the game against Man City on Saturday? Because there's only 2, I think, out of the 11, or maybe Anthony, maybe Martinez, probably got a real chance.
Lee Boyne is chasing a ball down the left channel. It's cleared away. I think Martinez will play from the beginning on Saturday against Manchester City. I think Dalot will play as well at right back. I think they're just giving Dalot extra games after coming back from that hamstring injury that he picked up against Morocco in the World Cup, just to make sure he's up to speed. He only started for the first time on Friday night, didn't he?
But I also think there's a lot of pressure on Diogo Dalot now, with Wan-Bissaka playing so well.
Anthony down the right side. Infield it goes to Dalot. Dalot sends it on towards Mainu. Mainu back to Anthony. Anthony tries to jink past Steven Sessegnon, doesn't manage to get beyond him and goes back in field where Harry Maguire steps in, plays it square. Martinez then takes on Albi Morgan, threads it down the left, a beautiful ball into his compatriot Garnacho. Garnacho took too long, then plays it to the edge of the area. There was no one there coming in on it, and it just eludes Scott McTominay. He's won it back, sent it down the right in the wing position, and Anthony tried to take on Sessegnon, didn't beat him, and the ball goes out on this near side for a throw-in for Charlton Athletic. You're listening to Manchester United 1, Charlton 0 in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager, 18+. Please drink responsibly.
It's got to be played in first time from Garnacho after Martinez plays him through with a wonderful pass. Garnacho does ever so well. He gets away from his marker yet again, but yes, it's his weaker left foot, but he's got to play that ball into the 6-yard area first time with his left foot. Everybody's waiting there. If you're a centre forward, that's what you're waiting for. Food and drink. Has a couple of touches, tries to play it back to the edge of the 18-yard box and doesn't find anybody.
Ball sent forward through the middle for Fred, looking to try and find Elanga. It works its way out towards the Manchester United left, and Sean Clare goes out towards the right fullback position and tries to clear it for the away side Charlton Athletic, who are middling in League One so far this season. And their MO in the last round against Brighton was to sit in, offer very little and grind out a draw and go to penalties. It worked. And tonight they've been a little bit more adventurous, and they've hunted further up the pitch. And they've conceded a wonder goal to Anthony inside 21 minutes, and Manchester United have the advantage. And from a position of strength, you'd expect Manchester United to go on and seal the deal, but nothing in cup football is ever certain. And it is a very odd night in Manchester. The rain came down like Niagara Falls prior to the start of the game. It was an unbelievable storm that swept through this area of Manchester, and the wind is still howling around this stadium. And wherever you are in the world, I'm sure you're listening to Talksport and having your own experience of wild weather. If you're in the United States and Canada listening to our partner station, Sirius XM-FC, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to you wherever you are on that great continent. Thank you for choosing Talksport. The ball is on the left and it's with Martinez, moving up towards the midpoint of the Charlton half. He plays it back to Harry Maguire, and then it's infield to Diogo Dalot, who just wanders into a midfield position a la João Cancelo at Manchester City, and then it goes all the way back to the halfway line once again. Dalot, right side of the midfield now, onto Fred. Manchester United not won a trophy for 5 seasons, the longest drought since the last late 70s and early 80s. It'll be nearly 6 years by the time the season ends. Here is McTominay into Mainu, out towards the right side. The dispossessed is Anthony, and it was won well on the left-hand side by Corey Blackett-Taylor, who scored on Saturday against Lincoln, then given away cheaply. And McTominay has found Malacia, and then it's on to Garnacho, who's weaved his way into the box. He took too many touches. It's been a Bit of a trend since an early bright start from Garnacho. Forward by Martinez as he gets the ball back on the edge of the centre circle. He's flown that out to the Brazilian Fred, but it's too hefty. It's behind and away for a goal kick away to our right. There's a goal in the game at Sincil Bank, and here is Jeff Peters.
It's Lincoln 1, Accrington 2. The visitors have turned it around. It's a penalty. O'Connor caught Wally's trailing leg. Aaron Presley's got his second of the game. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, and the Brentford Loney has the Lancashire side in front. Lincoln 1, Accrington 2.
Straight after us tonight, 10 o'clock, Sports Bar with Jason Cundy and Dean Saunders. You can give them a call and tell them what you think about everything. Still 0-0 between Newcastle and Leicester in the other Carabao Cup quarter-final tonight. 1-0 here to Manchester United. 0371722 3344. Tomorrow morning on breakfast, Gabby Agbonlahor joins Ali McCoist and Laura Woods. 6 o'clock start for the crew to warm you up in the morning, and then Alex Crook joins Jim White and Danny Murphy tomorrow from 10 o'clock in the morning. Lots of transfer gossip, I'm sure, throughout that show. And the latest on Wout Weghorst is expected to join Manchester United in the not too distant future. Where are we going next? There has been a goal somewhere. Let's go off to Cheltenham and Ian Danter.
Cheltenham 1, Salford 1. The Robins back level, courtesy of Ryan Broom, who's been excellent all half. Cross from the right-hand side, put back across the face of goal by left wing-back Ben Williams, and Broom fired home from close range. Just moving into stoppage time. Cheltenham 1, Salford 1.
Ian Danter, who will be part of the commentary team at the weekend for Manchester United against Liverpool in the WSL on Talksport 2, with the former Leeds women's striker Lucy Ward. And that's a double bubble of WSL action this weekend. Arsenal-Chelsea is on Talksport from midday on Sunday. Here on the left to Garnacho, into the edge of the area. Mainu plays it on towards the edge of the D, where McTominay was waiting for it. A chance for an escape here for Charlton, though, led by Fraser, who bounds up towards halfway. It goes out to the left, and Corey Blackett-Taylor, who tries to take on Dallow. He dazzles one way and then just holds off with the speed before trying to move down into a left wing position. Back to Fraser, whose cross is deep towards the far post, and Raksaki tries to get something on it, but it took a little deflection and goes out off the Charlton man for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Just wanted Corey Blackett-Taylor just to make a little bit more of that.
Well, you've got to do things a little bit quicker, Sam, in the final third. It's too slow. It's too slow in their brains. They're not picking up the pass watches in front of them because they had a 4-v-3 situation. But when they get themselves on a half-turn, the passing's just got to be crisper, whether it's out wide or whether it's through the middle. And they're giving Man United the opportunity to get themselves back into better positions.
Manchester United have it again. Fred works it wide. Anthony into the area, right side, tries to draw a shot across the goalkeeper, takes a deflection, bounces out towards the corner flag, and he's being chased down by Sessegnon. Still with his back to goal, he's trying to turn, use his strength to hold on to it. Does well there, Anthony. Infield it goes from Dallow. They're in the midpoint of the Charlton half. There's a foul by Albie Morgan. It's going to be a free kick 25 yards from goal, so it gives us the opportunity to get a half-time report from Bristol Rovers, Plymouth, Ian Abrahams.
Rovers 0, Plymouth 2. Goals from Ben Waine, a header on 25 minutes, and Ryan Hardy 7 minutes later running onto a long ball to fire home. Waine should have had 2 more, 1 from close range wide, 1 over the top. Could have been all over by now. Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 2.
Problem here for Diogo Dallow, who's going to have to be substituted. We'll give you details on that in just a second after the half-time score from the Unibowl. Steve Hoffersall.
Yeah, where it's Bolton 1, Portsmouth 0. Hard fought first half. Bolton just edged it on 17 minutes. A clinical counter-attack. Dion Charles out-muscling Denver Hume and rolling the ball for Bodvarsson to finish past Josh Griffiths in the Pompey goal. Half-time, Bolton 1, Portsmouth 0.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka is about to come on for the injured Diogo Dallow, and I'll scrub what I said about him playing on Saturday. I think it might be Wan-Bissaka now. That's a worry, isn't it, bearing in mind he's just had a hamstring injury?
Yeah, and if it's a reoccurrence of that hamstring problem, then Sam, he just needs to give himself a little bit of a rest. You're obviously excited coming back from the World Cup. He wants to get back involved with Manchester United as quick as he possibly can. Obviously played against Everton on Friday, but I don't think it's too much of a concern as it would have been maybe 2 months ago. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I mentioned before, the 3 games I've seen him play have been absolutely fantastic. So he just slots into that right-back position and makes that change.
Yeah, I don't think he's as popular with the Charlton fans as he is with the Manchester United fans after his recent performances. He's a former Crystal Palace player, and let's just say they're not mates. Charlton fans and Crystal Palace fans. Free kick to Manchester United now eventually is going to be taken after that first substitution of the game after 34 minutes. Manchester United leading by a goal to 0. There's a free kick just right at the centre point of the Charlton half. There's a 5-man Charlton wall, 4, then 2 reds and then another white, trying to block the opportunity. And it's going to be Fred to take it, left-footed, drills it towards the near corner, hits the post, rattles the post with a fearsome effort, struck beautifully over the top of the wall and cracks that frame of the goal with real venom. Brilliant effort. Should have been 2-0.
Well, I'll hold back what I was going to say, because I was looking at Anthony thinking, you've scored an absolute wonder goal. Do you want to get a second goal from the set-piece free kick? Because I've seen Fred take free kicks in the past. But what a free kick that was. It's got pace on it, whip, it's got dip on it. It looked like it was flying in the top corner. Super effort.
That's the most Brazilian thing he's ever done.
It was a great strike.
A brilliant effort from Fred, and it's cracked the inside of the post. He's actually a very useful midfielder, Fred, and sometimes I think overly maligned. Ball with Raksaki on the right side for Charlton, trying to drag themselves back into the game. Fred has now allowed Raksaki to get away, and then Kobe Mainu has brought him down right on the edge of the D, and it's going to be a free kick to Charlton. Let's go off to Cheltenham, where Ian Danta can bring us up to date with half-time.
Yes, half-time, Cheltenham 1, Salford 1. Fiercely contested first half in this quarter-final. Callum Hendry putting Salford ahead on 13 after a corner was only half saved by the keeper Southwood. But Ryan Broom equalised right on half-time after good work on the right-hand side by Ryan Jackson. Good second half in prospect. Cheltenham 1, Salford 1.
Going to be a free kick here taken by Albie Morgan, the Portsmouth-born midfielder who's made over 100 appearances now for Charlton. He's placed the ball down. It's just a shade left of centre. It's 10 yards outside the box. It's a real opportunity this for Charlton to get themselves back in the game.
And you look at Tom Heaton in the Manchester United goal, Sam, he doesn't really fill it too much, does he? He's not the tallest goalkeeper in the world. This is a great opportunity for Charlton.
Morgan standing over it. Fraser is there too. It's a 4-man United wall. He hits it, Morgan, right-footed in towards the near corner, and it wasn't too far away. It did have Heaton interested just for a second, and then he saw it fizzing past the post, and it goes out for a goal kick. But that's the best opportunity that they have had. It ended up being about 2 or 3 yards wide. It was always veering away from goal.
Yeah, it was. It didn't really threaten that Manchester United goal. You could see Tom Heaton just shuffling across to his right-hand side. But you don't want to be giving too many free kicks, silly free kicks away to Charlton, especially when the game's only at 1-0 for Man United. They're not going to create too many chances, and when they do come along, you've got to make them count.
United lead by 1-0. Anthony's 5th goal of the season. So far, the only goal in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. Newcastle 0, Leicester City 0 is the latest scoreline from St James's Park. And here, Manchester United on the right path, but it's a slender lead that they have at this moment in time. Malacia in a 50-50 challenge, as he almost lost out on. Sees the ball go running loose in midfield, picked up by Morgan, who thinks he was fouled. The referee concurs with that, and it's going to be a free kick, so we'll go off to Sincilbank and a goal for Jeff Peters.
Yeah, it's Lincoln 2, Accrington 2, the home side on level terms. Tom Hopper has got his second of the evening, nodding in from close range after great work from Sanders. Lincoln 2, Accrington 2.
Charlton fans enjoying themselves, giving their Manchester United opposition a little bit of a rendition of a famous old song. It's not very nice, is it? Geographically.
It's not the first time we've heard that song, Sam, is it? But, yeah, it was a bit of a full-on challenge, wasn't it? But then from the free kick, yet again, Charlton, they've got
just wasted it, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be better.
Ball given away by Garnacho, and it's turned over, and Raksaki's got it over on the far side. He's very good at holding onto the ball, close, tight control. He's rangy and long-limbed. He's trying to dance past Martinez, and then Malacia comes back at him and robs the ball. It's picked up by Fred. Now Garnacho trying to roll the ball past Dobson. Gets up towards the halfway line. He's pushed out of play, and it goes out for a throw into Manchester United on the halfway line. A Manchester United side that lead here by 1-0. It was a spectacular goal as well. Could have had a second when Fred's free kick cannoned off the inside of the post and went loose inside the box, but it remains just one the advantage for Eric Ten Hag's side. He's standing on the edge of his technical area, almost on the edge of the pitch now, just trying to get a message across to his team. Alanga picks up the loose ball after Lucas Ness tries to head it away, and he can't get it under control. It's a little bit loose from him, Elanga, and it's cleared away by the Charlton defence. And Lee Byrne chasing into the left corner. Heaton's going to come out quickly and collect it. Lucas Ness is a interesting case. And that was almost interesting for Harry Maguire and Tom Heaton. Lucas Ness is an interesting case. He's gone from the National League survival scrap to shackling some of the best forwards in the country in less than 18 months. He used to play for the Met Police.
Wow. They're a decent team.
Yeah.
Not as good at Charlton though, Sam, but Raksai over on that right-hand side. A second ago there, he's got 3 Manchester United players around him. He's done the hard bit. He's attracted 3 players across to him. That's when you've got to get your head up and switch the play a little bit quicker if you're going to get anything from Man United tonight.
Mainu into Elanga, and then again doesn't lay the ball off quick enough there, Mainu, and it's picked off by Scott Fraser, who stops, accelerates and moves the ball forward, looking for Lee Byrne. Well judged by Martinez, who positioned himself inside the D, defended it for Manchester United, and McTominay brings it clear. Elanga went on a sprint, wasn't spotted by McTominay, has to get himself back on side, goes into midfield. Mainu just over the halfway line, right of centre, plays it out towards Anthony on the flank, and then Fred with a diagonal ball in behind, looking for Garnacho, who was well defended by Clare, and then Elanga went for it, but he wasn't 100% committed to that, and they get it clear. Wan-Bissaka picks it up halfway. Fred, Wan-Bissaka again in the midpoint of the Charlton half, worked wide onto Anthony. Anthony looks up, stops the ball, waits, plays it infield, and then gives it away. And Manchester United can't afford to get too casual.
That's the way it feels at the moment, doesn't it, Sam? It's got that feel about it where they're trying little tricks around the corner. They're not doing the basics, getting hold of the ball. Runners overlapping runners in full-back areas like they were doing in the first 15 minutes of the game. It's just kind of stagnated a little bit, which is why Charlton themselves are thrown into the game a little bit.
Have they just started to take it for granted a little bit that they're going to get through? They haven't been knocked out at home by lower league opposition since 2018-19 when they lost on penalties to Derby County after a 2-2 draw. It is a rare occurrence.
What the last 2 games, Sam, that we've been here, was it Bournemouth and Burnley, I think, wasn't it? Where they obviously got themselves...
I wasn't here for Burnley, but I was here for the Everton and Bournemouth games.
In a commanding lead, and then they let the opposition into the game, creating chances, albeit didn't score goals, but they've got that moment in a game where they just switch off for 10 or 15 minutes, which gives everybody a chance to get back into the game.
That certainly happened last week when you and I were sitting in these seats watching them play Bournemouth. They got themselves into a good position and then just slackened off and offered chances to Gary O'Neill's team. 42 minutes gone on the clock. It's Manchester United who lead by a goal to nil. This man has scored it. Anthony wriggles away from Sessegnon to the right edge of the penalty area. Took it to the byline, almost overhit it. He's backed up by Wan-Bissaka, who's helped him out. He's inside the box. Anthony has then tried to do a little Rabona. He's missed it. And then through the legs of Maguire, Dobson has wandered. And now they've got more players on the other side of the ball than Manchester United. But the pass out by Dobson to the right side wasn't at all crisp. And Malacia was allowed to scamper back and easily win it. And what a waste of a counter-attack that was from Charlton.
Absolutely massive opportunity, done ever so well to win the ball back. Sloppy play again from Manchester United. 3-4v2 situation, just picks the wrong decision. Had to come to his left-hand side.
Garnacho skating forward now at pace on the outside of Clare. Unleashed the shot, and it's over the top of the crossbar and out and away for a goal kick. Charlton have had a bit of an uptick in performances, though, under Dean Holden. They were more accomplished when I saw them down at Portsmouth on New Year's Day. And they've won the last 2. It's been a tricky season for them. 1 or 2 of the players think that maybe the Brighton performance was the catalyst. Dean Holden obviously has emerged with a bit of credit over the last couple of matches. He will hope that anything that happens tonight doesn't check their momentum and stop the progress that they've made. He doesn't want it just to be a new manager bounce, but the 8,000 that have come up here, maybe taking a day off work today because there's a lot of transport disruption at the moment. There's a lot of the road problems last night when I was coming back from Oxford as well. It's not easy to get up the motorway network, let alone the train network at the moment. So they've done a fantastic job to get so many bodies up here tonight. And they will be, I think, pretty pleased with what they've seen from their team for the most part of this 45 minutes.
Absolutely. There was a time where the game looked as if it was passing them by and Manchester United were just going to walk away with it, but they've kept themselves in it. And already had a goal deficit. They've had a couple of half chances, the best being the free kick. You know, you've got to hit the target, Sam, but then on 2 occasions, 4v2 situations that they just have to do better in.
Here they are, coming forward again. Corey Blackett-Taylor hugging the left touchline and taking on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Charlton on the attack, tries to go on the outside of Wan-Bissaka, who chops him in half. And the ball goes spilling behind as well and out for a goal kick to Manchester United. It was a very good tackle from Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I think Erik ten Hag would like Aaron Wan-Bissaka's 1v1 defending and Diogo Dalot's opposition quality. If you can say he's got great quality, I suppose he's better than Wan-Bissaka in the opposition's half. And
his
then you've got a better fullback altogether. But Wan-Bissaka, there's not many people get the better of him. You're talking about playing against Man City, Sam. You remember the game when he played against Raheem Sterling, and he was just sensational that day.
Here on the right side, Wan-Bissaka is combining with Anthony. Wan-Bissaka getting a reception from the Charlton fans. He moves down that end of the ground. It's played to Mainu and then Wan-Bissaka again. Anthony trying to move towards the edge of the penalty area, and now McTominay, who's about 10 yards outside the box, plays it square into Fred. There's an extra 3 minutes at the end of the first half of the Carabao Cup round 5 tie between Manchester United and Charlton, with Manchester United leading by a goal to nil. We're approaching half-time on Talksport, and Talksport 2, it's still 0-0 between Newcastle and Leicester City. Lincoln 2, Accrington 2 in the EFL Trophy playoffs. And Bradford still lead Rochdale by a goal to nil in League 2. Over on the right side. And it's forward towards the edge of the area by Albie Morgan of Charlton. Played out wide towards the right, and the low ball in from Sean Clare is kept hold of by Tom Heaton at his near post. He drops towards his right, pulls it into his chest, and he'll clear it away.
Yeah, he's done ever so well, Tom Heaton, in the end, because it was a lovely move from Charlton. Alfie Morgan working the ball over to that right-hand side. Lovely ball into the area with a lot of pace on it. Just needed somebody to get in front of the goalkeeper. But yet again, it was Manchester United giving the ball away.
And before winning their last 2 matches, Charlton went on a 11-match winless run. They did get through a couple of rounds of the Carabao Cup on penalties. They've been the penalty experts, actually, in this competition so far this season. But there certainly has been a uptick in output. Maguire with another long raking pass from right out to the left, and it's taken down well for Garnacho. Garnacho beaten to it by Raksaki, and then it's out for a throw-in level with the edge of the penalty area. We've played 90 seconds of the 3 added minutes at the end of the first half.
After his start, Garnacho, I thought this was going to be his night.
Yeah.
First 15 minutes he was unplayable, but then he's received the ball on a couple of occasions from diagonals. He's given it away, trying to get onto his stronger right foot. Yet again he's done exactly the same thing. And it's frustrating because you want to criticise him, but because he's so young, we know how talented he is, but you still got to do better in those positions.
Still a long way to go for Alejandro Garnacho, who is only 18 years of age. There's a bit of development still to follow for him, but he's going to be a terrific player, I think.
It's learning on the job, Sam, isn't it?
Maguire out towards the right, onto Anthony. Anthony cutting in into his left foot, then opening the pitch up for McTominay. Back to Anthony once again. Fred, dead centre, plays it left. Garnacho drops deep, funnels it out to the wide left. Malacia takes over, back into Fred. Slick passing from Manchester United, but not really going anywhere, just patiently trying to work this Charlton defence, who are all behind the ball. Out to Wan-Bissaka, cross into the box, flicked away by Innis. It's out towards the far side. Malacia, Garnacho, Malacia again onto the edge of the box. McTominay, they're swarming Manchester United around the edge of the box, trying to find a killer pass. Almost Fred tried to squeeze it through towards Malacia, but it's away by Clare. Back in by McTominay. Fred trying to keep it alive. Won by Malacia again. Pokes it on. Stabbed away by Raksaki over on the far side. Morgan tries to hold on to it. There was a foul by Alessandro Martinez, and it's now Charlton who are going to have the ball, and that should be the end of the first 45 minutes. Indeed, Jared Gillett does blow the whistle. The trophy hunt still very much on for Manchester United, who are threatening to rack up an 8th straight win thanks to a goal from Anthony after 21 minutes. The Charlton fans, though, pretty pleased with what they've seen in the opening 45 minutes. They've given their team a round of applause at the half-time whistle, because they're very much still in this. At the break, Manchester United 1, Charlton 0.
And in the other quarter-final, live on Talksport 2, Newcastle 0, Leicester 0. Sean Longstaff missing a sitter in the very first minute, miskicked with a goal gaping. 7th minute, Callum Wilson, goal-bound shot was deflected wide. And just before half-time, Bruno firing in from range. Good save from Ward in the Leicester goal. So it's 0-0 in that one. 1-0 to Manchester United here, Mickey Gray. And what you said towards the end of the first half is spot on. Garnacho and Anthony, I think, on the wings were killing Charlton. It looked like it could go on to be 3-0 by half-time, but they've quietened down. Is that something that Dean Holden and Charlton have done to quieten them down?
Yeah, that diagonal pass that I was talking about in the first 45 minutes, Adrian, from Harry Maguire over to Garnacho was working every single time. And Sakai then had to drop in a little bit to help out his fullback because he was having a bit of a nightmare, wasn't he, Sean Clare? But since then, it's like the wide players and even the midfield area as well, they've switched off a little bit, Manchester United, as if they think they're just going to breeze through this game because they've taken the lead. It was a wonder goal, you have to say, from Anthony, but I think it could have been stopped a lot earlier. Let's not forget, it started from Manchester United's area. Same diagonal pass, it was nice play, but it's a cross-field pass that you can cut out if you get players across. But Charlton have had their little looks at goal. They've just got to shore up a little bit. They've got to show a little bit more quality, and there could be something here for them.
We are seeing the qualities of Harry Maguire, aren't we? I know a lot of people criticise him, I get that, and some just aren't having him at all, but you don't get to this level of the game without having some qualities. Now, if say, one-on-one defending or lack of pace is not necessarily his strength, passing definitely is his strength.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't think that's ever been in question. I think sometimes the way that Manchester United play, if they want to come out from the back quick, he maybe dallies on the ball a little bit, but he rarely gives the ball away. He's got an experienced guy alongside him now, which I think he feels comfortable with, Martinez. And some of those passes that he's played over to the left-hand side in that first 45 minutes, I mean, that's what you see what centre midfielders do. And every single one of them has actually found a man.
I'm frustrated with Charlton. I'll tell you why. I mean, I hope they're as slow and weak in attack at Peterborough in 11 days' time, because they've offered next to nothing. They've actually had some good ball in the opposition areas, far more than I thought they would have. But when I look at Lee Byrne, he's young and raw, I get that, but there's not enough sweat on his shirt. I don't think he's causing physical problems enough, and he's a big guy as well. Blackett Taylor, exactly the same. Raksaki, when he had those three on him and just didn't pass when others were free, maybe it's the innocence and naivety of youth. They're yet to learn the game, and it's a problem Dean Holden will have to address, maybe even in this window. They need some more experience, and certainly somebody who's going to at least try and bully United defenders. Yeah, no, absolutely, Adrian. I think you're spot on there, but also there's a little bit of naivety where you're looking at players and you think, is this why you're playing League One? Have you not got the qualities or the ability in your brain to know that there's three Manchester United players around you, so you've got to come out of that situation and switch it to somebody else? It's that thought process what's got to be quicker, and also the passing, because you're right, 2 or 3 occasions they had a 4v2, they were in a really good position, and it was just that final ball making a wrong choice when they could have been on, because Blackett Taylor down this left-hand side when Diogo Dalot was on the pitch was actually causing them a lot of problems. It's going to be difficult, obviously, against Wan-Bissaka in a 1v1 situation, but you mentioned there Lee Byrne up front as well. Yeah, go and play alongside Martinez and even Malaysia, in between a centre-half and a full. If they can do that and they can play that diagonal pass themselves, they'll get up the field more, they'll make it harder for Manchester United to defend against them, and that's where they could get their joy in the second half. Fans have been brilliant, though, I've got to say. I love the fact that they're booing Wan-Bissaka because he used to play for Palace. Raksaki's on loan from Palace. Why aren't they booing him? It makes no sense. But there's been some banter between the two sets of fans. Charlton fans singing, "Is this a library?" and the United fans singing, "You're only here to see United." And actually, if Charlton bring 8,500 to Peterborough in 11 days' time, I'll be very, very surprised. I think they are only here to see United. That'd be the biggest crowd of the season, wouldn't it, Adrian? We'll take it. And we'll definitely make them pay to get in as well. But I love it because the cup competitions, and obviously you can bring more than the 3,500, and it makes the night special. Absolutely, a really good atmosphere inside Old Trafford. United leading by a goal to nil, live on Talksport. 0-0 Newcastle Leicester, live on Talksport. 2 second halves to come, all over in the Papa John's quarter-final at Sincilbank. Jeff Peters. It's finished here. Lincoln 2, Accrington 2. A brace of close-range goals for Tom Hopper, who put Lincoln in front early on and then levelled things up with 10 to play after Aaron Presley's double for Accrington. The Brentford Loney's opener was a fine finish, the other a sweet penalty. And now we head to penalties in this quarter-final. Lincoln sent on a replacement keeper, Jordan Wright, who's been good in shootouts earlier in the competition. Lincoln 2, Accrington 2. Penalties to come. Elsewhere in the Papa John's, they were all 7:45 kickoffs. Bolton 1 up against Portsmouth. Plymouth 2 up at Bristol Rovers. Cheltenham 1, Salford City 1. In the National League, Wrexham 1, Bromley 1. Bromley took the leads at the racecourse. Aldershot 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Josh Walker again. And Notts County 0, Boreham Wood 1. Notts County the leaders, but losing at home to Boreham Wood. George Broadbent on loan from Sheffield United with the goal. You're listening to live coverage of Man United Bournemouth on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
£1 million. Is this a wind-up? It has to be a wind-up. Apart from the birth of my children, this is the best phone call I've ever received in my life.
This is what it sounds like when people win big with the National Lottery. Will you be next? The National Lottery. Your numbers make amazing happen. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
When you need medical help fast, use NHS 111 online to go from home to an urgent treatment centre.
Mr. Williams, please come through.
Or a pharmacy.
Hello, pharmacist will see you now.
Or if needed, stay where you are and get a call from a nurse, doctor or paramedic. Get assessed and directed to the right place for you in as little as 90 seconds. Use NHS 111 online.
My name's Carl, and I'm a wombat.
Oh, not just any wombat, my very own nephew.
I've come from Oz to stay with my meerkat uncle Alexander and this other fella Serge.
It's Sergey.
We're having heaps of fun. I unpacked all my stuff.
In my room.
I played them my favourite tunes.
It's 3 a.m.
Ooh, I'm even going to teach them my wombat wrestling moves.
Not yet. Ow.
So watch out, United Britain of Kingdom. This wombat's here to stay.
Don't wombat it, meerkat it with Compare the Market.
Simples.
The McPlant. What? 100% vegan? Even the cheese? But how... It can't be, can it?
It really is. The McPlant from McDonald's, with melt-in-the-mouth vegan cheese, a delicious sesame-seeded bun, vegan mayo, and a juicy Beyond Meat patty. It's our iconic taste, plant-based. Served after 11 a.m, subject to availability.
The Graham Norton Radio Show with Waitrose.
Over on Virgin Radio.
What a start to the year we're having. Join me this weekend when I'll be joined by not one, but 2 stars from stage and screen. The delightful Felicity Kendall will be here chatting about a new West End production of Noises Off, and Laura Pulver will be sharing all on her role in the brand new ITV drama Maternal. I do hope you can join me.
The Graham Norton Radio Show with Waitrose. Ooh, food to feel good about.
Saturday and Sunday from 9:30.
First credit card offer you get, willy-nilly. Comparing them with Experian First could get you a way better deal. Delicious. I am so sorry for that. Before you do credit cards, do Experian First. Experian Limited is a credit broker, not a lender, based on transferring a balance from an interest-bearing card to one with a 0% interest-free period.
At Specsavers, if we said you can choose a free lens option with a pair of glasses from our £69 range or above, how would that sound? Well, like this. Varifocals, to help you see near and far. Reactions, which darken in sunlight. Oh, nice. Thin and light lenses. Or ultra clear, super clean. We don't have a sound for that. Let's just say they help your glasses stay cleaner for longer. So you're better off with Specsavers. Offers can't be combined. Terms and conditions apply. Ask in store for details.
At Kia, we believe to find inspiration, you have to move. Our Kia Inspire event features exclusive offers on selected models like the Kia Exceed, Sportage, Stonic and Picanto. Get your first 2 services free, 7.9% APR representative and up to £2,500 PCP deposit contribution. Plus, these models will be available sooner than you think. Search Kia Inspire event. Kia. Movement that inspires. T's and C's apply. Petrol models only. Kia Finance ends 28th of February.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Free airport lounge access with 4- and 5-star holidays with On the Beach. See terms and conditions. Outbound only. Subject to availability at all protected.
On the beach. Carabao Cup live on Talksport with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave. Online, on your mobile and on your smart speaker. Talksport.
So, forgot to mention League 2, Bradford 1, Rochdale 0, Aboisa with the only goal so far of Valley Bray. But the two quarter-finals in the Carabao Cup, Newcastle 0, Leicester 0. Newcastle have been on top. That's live on Talksport 2. And here on Talksport at Old Trafford, Man United lead League 1 Charlton by a goal to 0. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Alex Apati, well, it's 1-0 to Man United, and we thought they were going to run riot, but Charlton have kept them at bay since that first goal.
Yeah, but the odds suggest that, Charlton 50-1 now to win the game in 90 minutes, should we say. United 1-22. Remember, before kickoff they were 1-25 to qualify at any point, and around 1-5 to win the game. Draw 12-1, which would be massive upset at this point, but it is only 1-0. Looking at the stats in the game alone, United have completely dominated, though, haven't they? It's an unbelievable goal from Anthony. He's 9-2 to get the next goal of the game. Maybe we're in a position where they might be able to rest him in the second half. You probably wouldn't be too surprised to see a couple of fringe players maybe coming on for United in this half. Do we see both teams scoring? Probably not. The odds say 9-4 Charlton to find a goal, and we're 1-2 for 3 or more to be scored. United heavy favourites to get the next goal of the game as well at 1-4. Or if you think it'll finish with 1-0, then 11-2 says it does.
Not sure if you've got anything on Newcastle, Leicester. It's goalless at the moment, but Newcastle have definitely been on top. If I give you the stats from the game, they've dominated possession. They've had 13 efforts to Leicester's 2, 3 on target to Leicester's 1. Very best chances have been to Newcastle United, but somehow they haven't managed to take the lead.
It's becoming a bit of a habit for them at the moment, at least in the last 4 games. Obviously scored 1 but lost against Sheff Wednesday. They drew the last 2 Premier League games 0-0 as well, so it's not a massive surprise that they haven't found the back of the net here despite all those efforts. They are still odds on. Again, the prices haven't really changed since kick-off. Newcastle 8-11, so they've drifted a little. Leicester have pretty much been 6-1 all along, and the draw after 90 minutes here is 2-1. Yeah, they can't seem to find the net at the moment. In terms of your goal scorers, though, they do dominate the next or first goal scorer betting. Callum Wilson is most likely at 4-1. He's followed by Joe Linton at 7-1 and Almiron at 10-1. I'm going to stick with my earlier prediction, though. I'm back in this game to spring into a little more life, at least for as far as Leicester are concerned. So maybe in more hope than expectation, but both teams to score at St James's Park is, I still think, quite a tempting 2-1 in the next 45 minutes.
Optimistic. Alex, thank you very much. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com, 18+, begambleaware.org.
And if you want to listen to the second half of Newcastle 0, Leicester 0, it's live over on Talksport 2. Just download the Talksport app for free. You can swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2. There's a list of live games there as well, telling you when they're on and how you can listen to them. There's loads of podcasts on there, and the schedules as well, telling you what's coming up and what shows have been on. You can listen back to a lot of the shows as well, all on the Talksport app, which you can download for free from where you get your apps. That penalty shootout is all over at Lincoln. Jeff Peters.
Accrington are through after a 2-2 draw, and on penalties they've won 3-1. The goalkeeper Jensen made 2 saves from Mandroyu and from Sanders, then Regan Paul hit the bar. Sean McConville got the winning penalty, and Accrington Stanley are through to the semi-finals of the Papa John's Trophy.
Yeah, no surprise. Sean McConville with a winning penalty. He's a set-piece specialist. And actually, I wanted to talk to Mickey Gray about a set-piece in that first half that it actually annoyed me. Charlton had a free kick central to the goal, maybe, 25 yards out. And we knew exactly what was going to happen. They put no disguise on it. We all knew Albie Morgan was going to take a right-foot curler. So they didn't really give Tom Heaton much to think about there. He knew what was coming. And they didn't even get it on target. Now, some might look at it and say, oh, he's put some curl on that. It's not that far away. In that position, you have to make the keeper work. You've got to get it on target.
Ask anybody who takes free kicks from about 25 yards out, Adrian, where they want the ball, and it was central. He could have went either side, but you're right, he kind of curled it, but as it started to curl away from the goal, it never really threatened. And that's why Tom Heaton was shuffling across to his right-hand side, because he knew straight away that the quality wasn't there. Look, they're not going to get massive chances tonight. Well, that has to go down as a huge opportunity. And you never know, they score that. They're on the front foot, they're in the ascendancy. You come out in the second half, who knows what could happen?
Well, Charlton are coming out for the second half. George Dobson, the midfield captain, ex of Sunderland, with his slicked back black hair as they go through the routines with the cones at the side of the pitch in front of us here at Old Trafford. Dean Holden walking down the touchline looking a trim figure. He looks trimmer now than he did in his playing days, Dean Holden. He's got a cuppa in his hands as well. I think he'll be just really happy to still be in the game, and I don't mean to be patronising, but after that first goal I think we all thought this could get a little bit out of hand. Goals in the National League. Notts County have equalised home to Boreham Wood, one apiece. Kedwin Scott for the leaders. I'll give you all the full times a little bit later on as well. Man United go through their little routine with the cones in the middle of the pitch actually as they come out for the second half. It is Manchester United who lead by a goal to nil. Talksport 2, they're about to bring you second half commentary of Newcastle 0, Leicester City 0. But here at Old Trafford, people going back to their seats, the staff taking their places in the dugouts, and the ball is on the centre spot as Charlton line up and Manchester United line up. And over the next 45 minutes, and maybe through penalties, we'll find out who's going to make it into the Carabao Cup semi-final. Manchester United in pole position. They lead by a goal to nil. Let's get second half commentary on Talksport with Mickey Gray and Sam Matterface.
The only previous League Cup meeting between these two came in the second round at Old Trafford in September 1974. Manchester United won by 5 goals to 1. Sammy McElroy, an own goal. 2 from Lou Macari. And Stuart Houston on the score sheet for United as they thrashed Charlton Athletic that night. They probably would have thought that would be a likelier scoreline than the one we have, bearing in mind the difference in positions in the pyramid between Manchester United and Charlton, but it certainly hasn't all been one-way traffic, and there's been a few bits of sloppiness creeping into the game. And as Maguire sends the ball out towards this near touchline looking for Garnacho, he miscontrols and it goes out for the first goal kick of the second half. Manchester United lead by a goal to nil. No changes at half-time. Red shirts, white shorts, black socks attacking the end away to our left, the Stretford end for Manchester United. Heaton is their goalkeeper. Wan-Bissaka on as a first-half substitute at right-back. Maguire, Martinez and Malacia make up the back four. Fred and McTominay in midfield with Mainu just ahead of them. And here comes Albie Morgan, edge of the area. Scott Fraser with a chance to shoot from the edge of the box, left-footed. Drives it over the top of the crossbar. Just leant back. What a big opportunity that was. Garnacho, Elanga and Anthony making up the rest of the Manchester United team. Maynard Brewer is the Charlton goalkeeper. It's the back four of Clare, Innes, Ness and Sessignon. Morgan, Dobson and Fraser in midfield with Raksaki, Leeburn and Blackett-Taylor going forward. And Mickey Gray, that was a good chance for Charlton.
Great chance. Absolutely superb opportunity, which I thought he actually should have taken first time. He had 2 or 3 touches before he tried to get his strike away. But yet again, Sam missed the target, but you just wonder whether Dean Holden's actually got them in at half-time and figured out a way of trying to break down Manchester United. Well, it was a long ball, and it was Leeburn against Martinez. He won the header, and that's where they got the chance from.
Heaton has it back at his feet, away to our right. We've played 2 minutes of the second half, live on Talksport. Anthony's goal is the one that separates these two at the moment, and he's wrestling with Sessignon tight to the touchline in front of the front row of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. There's quite a few actually. Manchester United supporters haven't just come back yet from their half-time refreshments. Mickey Gray brought his half-time refreshments back up into the press box, didn't you?
Just because you ate yours before you actually got back
good
here.
Chips? Were they good chips?
Yeah, they were very good actually. Izzy's got half my tub. She's eating them now.
Here on the halfway line is Albie Morgan for Charlton Athletic of League One. Rochdale have equalised away at Valley Parade in League Two. It's Bradford City 1, Rochdale 1. Charlton's last away win at Manchester United, 1-0 in August 1986. Mark Stewart scoring for Lenny Lawrence's side. Ron Atkinson was United manager. And this is a Charlton team that have won only 3 times ever here in their history. And prior to that win in 1986, the other 2 times were March 1932 and October 1938. So it's not a regular occurrence, and certainly those Charlton fans that have made the journey up the motorway network have come in hope rather than expectation tonight. They trail by a goal to nil as we approach the 49th minute of the game. Harry Maguire, of Manchester United, plays it square to Fred. He sends it further on, out to the wide left position of Malacia. The fullback scampering upfield. He looks for Garnacho. The young teenager backpedals, shirt long-sleeved and untucked at the waist. His wiry frame just swivels and shepherds it infield to McTominay. And Wan-Bissaka at the far post, back across the face of goal. It goes to Elanga. The offside flag is up as he taps it home. And it's not going to count. But it was a good, quick Manchester United move. They switched the play from left to right, but the offside flag went up very swiftly. Mickey Gray.
Sharp move, wasn't it, from Manchester United, from back to front. Really well worked on this left-hand side. Great diagonal, which has worked for them all night, but this time left to right from Fred to Wan-Bissaka in an advanced position. Super ball into the area, and he's just drifted in there a little bit too early, Elanga. Would have been the perfect start for United second half, but offside, absolutely.
Should he have done a little bit better with the timing of his run, bearing in mind he was so far offside?
Well, maybe it's one
area.
of those positions, Sam, where we're saying he's not used to being a striker. He's made that dart into the 6-yard area just to put the ball in the back of the net. Maybe a centre-forward who's played that position on a lot more occasions. What Anthony Elanga has done, might have done that, because you have to say, the ball into the area, he had time enough to stay onside and then run into that position and just put the ball into the back of the net, but it's still worrying on a Charlton perspective, isn't it? How easy they're getting in from those diagonal passes, leaving their fullbacks isolated in a 1v1.
Well, Manchester United are having a better run in the competition than last year when they were turfed out at home to West Ham United. Their home cup experiences last season also saw them jettisoned from the FA Cup by Middlesbrough here on a penalty shootout. But if they do get to a semi-final tonight, they will want to avoid Manchester City, who have knocked them out in 2 of the last 3 seasons at that stage of this competition. Manchester City play tomorrow night live on Talksport. Southampton are their opponents away from home. Jim Proudfoot and Stuart Pearce will be your commentary team for that game. We'll also bring you Forest against Wolves over on Talksport too. Clare for Charlton gets the better of Garnacho, and then Malacia goes back infield towards Clare, who's still kept hold of it somehow despite the presence of 3 Manchester United jerseys. Eventually Fred takes it off him. It's a poor pass infield to Kobe Mainoo, and it goes through the middle of the park and straight back to Lucas Nest, who caught his manager's eye after a couple of arresting performances, which is not a surprise bearing in mind he used to play for the Met Police.
But again, Sam, you know, as the play's moving on here on the right-hand side, we're talking about just putting balls into an area. And it's Alfie Morgan yet again. He's got that half a yard, hasn't he? And they want to have that extra touch. And then the crossing opportunity's then gone. You can see Dean Holland in the technical area. He's actually saying to him, just put it in the box. Don't worry about trying to pick somebody out. Centre forwards are then got to be in there. They're the ones who have to make the move and make something happen. But they're getting down the flanks a lot better in the second half.
If you don't get the ball into the penalty area, you're never going to get a situation where you might create a chance to score a goal. So it's better to just get it into the box and see what happens, and see if you can cause a little bit of chaos. Manchester United don't concede too many goals, but they're not in top form tonight. There's certainly a bit of casual play about them. There's a few complaining about that at half-time, actually, that we were talking to in the press room, Nicky, and Harry Maguire was a prime example of that, swiping the ball from the middle of the park out towards the left-hand side and it going straight out of play. Anyway, off to the EFL Trophy, the Papa John's Trophy quarter-finals, and Ian Danter's got news of a goal at Cheltenham. Cheltenham 2, Salford 1. They've turned it around here at the completely Suzuki Stadium, and it's Liam Sercombe turning the ball into the far post. Lovely work on the right-hand side of the box by Broom and Jackson. The ball was squared across for Will Goodwin on debut. His shot came off the outside of the post, but Sercombe followed up to fire it into the roof of the net. Cheltenham 2, Salford 1. Clare with a cross in from Charlton from the right-hand side. He gets it right towards the penalty spot. It's cleared away by Maguire. Mainoo can't get it up to the halfway line, but challenges Fraser. The ball ricochets into the path of Sessegnon, and all of a sudden Charlton are on the attack again. 53 on the clock. It's 1-0 to Manchester United. Bit of space for Corey Blackett-Taylor down the left. A slide challenge comes in from Wan-Bissaka, and one of those big pipe cleaner legs comes poking out and nudges the ball out down by the corner flag and away for a throw into Charlton.
And given the opportunity again, Charlton, from a silly mistake from Manchester United. That's 2 from your centre-halves, Martinez and Harry Maguire, just giving the ball away. No pressure on them whatsoever.
The ball has been won inside the 18-yard box as well, and it's come back towards Fraser inside the area. After trying to square it down the left-hand side, he was allowed to travel with the ball a long way there. Eventually Manchester United get it half clear, comes back again through Rakzaki down this right side. Fred steps across him, robs the ball, and now Manchester United are speeding away at pace. Anthony with Anthony Elanga waiting in the centre, moves up towards the right angle of the penalty area. He's on his right foot, he wants to cut in, he's trying to turn away from the attentions of Lucas Ness. He can't wriggle free from his grasp. He's gone all the way out towards the touchline, and Ness has done really well to hold him up. Fred into the area, looking for Mainu, couldn't get it out of his feet, tried to backheel it into the path of Elanga, and it was cut out by Sessegnon and cleared by Charlton up towards the halfway line. Another goal for Ian Danter at Cheltenham.
And it's Cheltenham 3, Salford 1. Will Goodwin on his debut, having arrived yesterday from Stoke City, played through the middle, got to the edge of the box and just hammered it past Alex Cairns. Could be a first ever semi-final for Cheltenham Town in this competition. Cheltenham 3, Salford 1.
Anthony has just picked the ball up right side, similar position from which he scored the goal, and driven the ball this time towards the far stick. It's gone just narrowly wide.
He's so frustrating, isn't he, Anthony? I mean, we watched the brilliance of his first goal after 21 minutes in the first half, and then he gets a chance. You know, we're talking about a 70, 80 million pound player here, Sam, when you're in a 1v1 situation and he holds onto the ball, opportunities then gone. Yes, they worked it very well after that, and he got a shot away, but I want more from him.
Clare with a challenge, a robust challenge, let's put it that way, on Anthony Elanga, and then he lifts the ball out to the far side, but it's far too high into the night sky, and it drifts into the first row of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand on halfway, and it remains 1-0 to Manchester United. Manchester United, who haven't been at their sharpest. They are heading for 8 wins in a row, matching the run of 8 straight wins of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his first 8 games in charge of this club. Erik ten Hag, who has presided over a real cultural change at Manchester United. There's a lot more discipline and focus about the team. He's a very direct communicator. Here is Wan-Bissaka, right side, cutting in into the centre of the Charlton half. In the midpoint is McTominay, then Fred, and then he swishes the ball out towards the left where it's collected by Malacia. Malacia infield, backheel by Wan-Bissaka, who continued his run from right to left, and then a tackle comes in from Clare and it's out for a corner for Manchester United, who lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, very good defending. 1v1 situation, little give and go there for Malacia, but better defending in those 18-yard areas from Charlton now in his second half. And they are starting to create a few opportunities themselves, Sam, because of the silly mistakes that Manchester United are making and letting Charlton get themselves back into the game, albeit they have a corner themselves right now.
Fred is going to take this corner from the near side, the left, and he plays it towards the penalty spot. Lisandro Martinez won the header, he flicked it on. It was a bit behind him, so he didn't get much purchase on it, but Anthony has retrieved it and now moved back towards the penalty area. Left-footed ball, which is clipped towards the penalty spot, headed away by Dobson, breaks in midfield, and then it's tucked forward towards Albie Morgan by Fraser, and he's returned it to Leeburn, and there's space on the far side if they can work the ball out towards Blackett-Taylor, but they can't find him. Malacia was well stationed, and it's cleared away. Oh, only half cleared away. McTominay's casually given the ball away, and Blackett-Taylor's got it back again. He charges down the left. He beats Malacia, gets on the outside, produces a cross. It's too high. Leeburn trying to get on the end of it, but it's tucked behind by Lisandro Martinez, and there may well have been a whack from behind by Leeburn. He's not going to get the corner. He's going to give away a free kick instead.
Well, Man United are giving Charlton the opportunity to get back in this game without playing well themselves. They're making so many silly mistakes. And this time McTominay not even looking, trying to play the ball around the corner to, I think it's Wan-Bissaka. And then great wing play again from Blackett-Taylor. Puts a decent enough ball into there. Yes, it is a foul at the end of it. But how many chances are Charlton going to have to try and put a bit of quality into the area? Because, as we mentioned, Sam, Man United are not playing well. Again, they just seem to be having these moments in games, but they're not lasting 5 minutes. They're lasting 15 or 20 minutes, and better quality will punish them in the end.
Well, look at the chances they gave up against Bournemouth. I mean, they were 2-0 up after an hour, and then gave Bournemouth about 4 decent opportunities to get back into the game, and then eventually finished them off. But by which time, you know, they could have conceded against other opposition. Everton didn't have too much threat the other night, but actually there was a point in that game where, you know, but for a narrow offside, that would have been 2-2 going into the final stages.
And it's a worry, isn't it? I think if you look at Manchester United's strongest 11, I'm still not really confident about the back line.
And that's why Roy Keane on television on Friday night said no, he didn't think that this was something special happening at Manchester United. He said, let's wait and see what happens over the next few weeks, because they've got to play Arsenal, Manchester City and play Barcelona twice. You know, right now, when you look back at their fixtures over the course of the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, even dating back further towards the end of the period running up to the World Cup, they haven't really played anyone.
No. I mean, but everybody will go back to saying, Sam, you can only beat what's in front of you, and that's right. You can't hide away from that, but I think there's bigger tests moving forward in the next few weeks.
Ball is out over on the left-hand side, and it's collected with Charlton's Sessegnon, trying to find Fraser. He played it into the left channel, cut out by Wan-Bissaka. Dean Holden will be very proud of the way that his team have harassed and harried Manchester United, not allowed them to settle, so much so that they're forcing Manchester United to bring on Casemiro and Eriksen. Not sure that's something that Erik ten Hag would want to do after an hour. Talking of big moments on the hour, Newcastle United have taken the lead. They have gone in front against Leicester City, 1-0. The goal coming just after the hour mark. The celebrations are going on. Is that big Dan Burn who's taking the celebrations? I think he is. And Dan Burn has put Newcastle United in front. I'm going to hazard a guess that I think that's his first goal for Newcastle United, from what I remember. And boy, what a good finish it was, cutting in from the left-hand side onto his right foot. He's 6'23", and he's gone past two defenders and slipped it into the far corner. Brilliant. 1-0 to Newcastle United. Two changes here. Fred is coming off. Anthony coming off. And on comes Eriksen and Casemiro. And hold on a second, Marcus Rashford is going to come on as well. So 3 changes. What does that tell you about what Erik ten Hag thinks about this?
It tells you that Erik ten Hag is frustrated, having to make those changes after half an hour, where he probably wanted to keep his star players fresh for the game against Manchester City on Saturday. And I think it just proves the performance of Man United since they come out in the second half. Whatever the manager's told them to do, the game plan he gave them is just clearly not working. You cannot keep giving the ball away, Sam. Yes, it's against a League One side tonight and they're getting away with it, but you play against top quality like they're going to do against Man City on Saturday, they'll find themselves 3 or 4 goals down again against them.
Imagine being Charlton Athletic. You've done well enough to get yourself into a position where you're holding a big team. It's only 1-0, and then they go, oh, we're going to bring on Christian Eriksen and Casemiro. Cheers, lads. Thanks for that.
Well, it's a nice story, isn't it? Because we were talking before the build-up of the game, and I think it was George Dobson, myself and Adrian, about playing against Casemiro. Well, I think he gets the chance now, doesn't he? So he might get that shirt at the end of the game, but he'll want a winning shirt from a Charlton perspective, if they possibly can. But they're still waiting for that one chance, that one big opportunity to get back into this cup tie.
Top scorer for Manchester United, Marcus Rashford, is on. He's scored in each of the last 7 home games, which is pretty damn impressive. He's on now, playing through the middle with Elanga going out towards the right-hand side. And it's be interesting to see whether or not Charlton can withstand that press. They make a change of their own, Charlton. They brought on Ian O'Connell to assist them at the back. And he's slotted into what looks like now a 3-man defence. So slightly stiffened up at the back after making a little bit of an adjustment. Corey Blackett-Taylor is the one that has gone off as a result of that.
Thinking of that game, Sam, on Saturday, I think we kind of guessed and maybe thought that Martinez might play against Manchester City on Saturday. I think Erik ten Hag's brave enough and maybe thinking about the height and physical presence of Erling Haaland and might play Harry Maguire and Varane as a 2.
It's possible, isn't it? I mean, do you know what? I'm going to be fascinated to see how Manchester United go on Saturday afternoon. And the good news is it's live on Talksport. 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Mickey and I will be here with Stuart Pearce and Reshmin Chowdhury. Live coverage only here on Talksport of Manchester United against Manchester City. And we've got full commentary from 12:30. Maybe it might be Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane. Maybe it'll be Varane and Martinez, the 2 World Cup finalists, who have a go at Erling Haaland. Here on the right-hand side, Sean Clare playing right wing-back now for Charlton Athletic, who's still trying to drag themselves back into this game. 1-0 the score. It's the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. The winners go through to the semi-finals. And it looks like Newcastle are going to head that way as well. Ball out over on the far side for Morgan to keep it back to Lucas Ness, who chips it forward into the left wing position. Sessegnon is chasing it. He's going to get a second bite at it after a poor clearance by Maguire. Maguire goes across to the right fullback position. It's played against the defender, and Wan-Bissaka will take a quick throw. Casemiro under pressure from Albie Morgan, and then Maguire is closed down by the same player, and it's lofted into the back row of the first portion of seats in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand, and there's a quiet look of concentration on the face of Dean Holden, the manager of Charlton Athletic. He believes that there might well be one big chance in this for them just yet.
I think they'll be thrilled to pieces. Dean Holden in the second half. It's not like Manchester United have created too many opportunities. They've been really scrappy. And this system change for Charlton might just work in their favour if they can get the wing-backs up the field as much as they possibly can and start putting balls into the area and giving Leeburn the chance to get on the end of something.
Here on the right side, Raksaki tries to come infield from the right touchline to take on Garnacho. He drifts past three players, goes down under a challenge from Casemiro. The referee says play on, no foul, and Manchester United look to break at speed. It's Rashford into McTominay, and a lovely ball out wide to Garnacho, who's isolated the defender Innis, coming on the right side, towards the far corner, and it's saved brilliantly up high to his left by the goalkeeper Maynard Brewer. Brilliant ball by McTominay out towards the left-hand side. Garnacho running at pace, cuts infield on his right foot and makes Maynard Brewer make a super save up to his left.
What a save from Maynard Brewer, and he had to make it. Great move from Manchester United. Two of the substitutes, Casemiro and Rashford. A couple of little passes. Eventually, a super ball through to Garnacho. Used his pace, got it onto that stronger right foot. It's a great strike from him, but what an outstanding save.
Jack Payne about to come on for Charlton. Ericsson trying to send it square into Casemiro. Casemiro out to the right side. And it's with Wan-Bissaka, and then back to Casemiro. His ball forward was cut out by Owen O'Connell, and he sends it up towards the edge of the centre circle where Fraser trundles up the pitch. Out left to Albie Morgan. Back in field to George Dobson. Oh, it's a poor ball out towards the near side. He didn't catch it at all right. Idea was right, execution not. And a change. Morgan off and Jack Payne on.
Just to freshen things up. I think Alfie Morgan comes off. He's given absolutely everything here at times. His decision-making could have been a little bit better in that final third. He did have that wonderful free-kick chance in the first half, which came to nothing. Again, it just gives somebody another opportunity to play at Old Trafford, which in any other season you're never going to get. And these players deserve it. They're giving absolutely everything.
Well, he's played more games than anybody else in the Charlton team this season, Jack Payne. He's an experienced lower league campaigner, and he will want to try and influence proceedings here going into the final 24 minutes of the match. Manchester United lead just by 1-0. And while it is just 1-0, that slender advantage that United have is a really fragile advantage, and Charlton will have a chance. I'll take you back to Sunday afternoon if you like, and Stevenage Aston Villa. That'll remind you that nothing's settled until it's settled. Here's Garnacho onto Wan-Bissaka, edge of the area. Out wide it goes to Elanga. First time poke into McTominay, takes it well. His low ball into the box, defended by Lucas Ness, and then cleared by Jack Payne, who scurries back into the 18-yard box and hoists the ball out towards the far side. It's a Manchester United throw, level with the edge of the penalty area.
Well, I love the defender from Charlton, because anytime Man United get in behind them, they're throwing their bodies on the line. They're trying to keep this score down to 1, just waiting for that one opportunity themselves. So concentrated, absolutely brilliant, and that's full credit to the manager for organising his team the way he has done. They're making it so hard for United to get in behind them now.
Listen, this is a team that have practiced this sort of operation throughout the course of the season, getting these EFL Cup ties to 90 minutes, getting a goal and making it level, and then winning on penalties. They've done it throughout the course of the tournament so far. So don't write Charlton off just yet. 23 to go. Casemiro, Ericsson. Yeah, Manchester United have had to bring those guys on. Up towards McTominay, back to Maguire. United want to get this settled. They want to free themselves of the shackles that Charlton have placed upon them. The ball forward by Casemiro, always run through to Marcus Rashford. It goes out to the right side. Rashford doesn't get hold of it. McTominay, and then it's cleared away by Sessegnon. He picks it up just short of the halfway line, and Scott Fraser will run it square, and Charlton will keep possession once again. Manchester United got City on Saturday, and then the really big games keep coming thick and very fast. Arsenal away the following Sunday, Crystal Palace at home, Leeds away, always a tough fixture for them, and Barcelona away. They've got the Reading Cup tie in the middle of that as well, and that Barcelona game, that Crystal Palace game, that Manchester City game, all of them live on Talksport or Talksport 2. We've got a whole range of commentaries upcoming with the restart of all the Champions League and Europa League action. Will be your voice. We will help you hear the action whenever it is taking place. We're very much looking forward to what is going to be a sensational spring of European action. 69 on the clock. Mickey, what is Erik ten Hag thinking now? Is he thinking about making further changes, do you think?
I tell you what, Sam, he'd be so frustrated of what he's seen in this second half. A tie that was there for them to pretty much see out in the first 45 minutes, but without getting that second goal, it's just given Charlton a little bit of a lift, a little bit of impetus in the game.
Casemiro thinks that what might be a good idea is to try and chip the goalkeeper from the halfway line. Didn't get anywhere near poor old Maynard Brewer, who's had to scurry away to the left-hand side to go and retrieve the ball, which was miles wide of the goal. A lot of credit has to go to Dean Holden and his team, though, doesn't it? Because the way they've applied themselves has been absolutely terrific.
They've been absolutely fantastic. When you think early on, after 21 minutes, you go a goal down at Old Trafford, you think the floodgates are going to open. Well, certainly hasn't been the case. Can't think of too many chances from Manchester United. Yes, they had a few. Fred's free kick in the first half that skimmed off the post was a wonderful chance, but other than that, there's not really been too many, and that's down to the organisation. And I have to say, the work ethic from Charlton has been superb. Normally Premier League sides wear you down. It's not been the case.
Well, there's still 20 minutes to go. It could happen. Here is Elanga on the right side. It's behind McTominay. And then Lucas Ness does well to leave it to Owen O'Connell, who shovels the ball out towards the far side. It takes a bounce off Sessegnon. It's out for a Manchester United throw. And you've got to give Charlton credit, you know, that the backdrop to which they're operating, with Thomas Sandgaard looking to try and sell the club. The former Charlton chief executive Peter Varney said on social media that he'd entered a period of exclusivity with a third party, Thomas Sandgaard. You mentioned Charlie Methven, who's trying to set up a company to take over the club. He's been at the last few matches. Here's Eriksson inside the area, flashing the ball through the 6-yard box, trying to get it through towards the far post where McTominay was lurking. Didn't work that particularly well, and it's cleared out towards the far side. They come back again, Manchester United, with Casemiro to the edge of the box, headed away by Dobson and cleared towards the halfway line. And there is a new company that has been set up at Company's House in Charlie Methven's name, registered at the Valley as an offside flag goes up. And we can tell you about another goal at St James's Park, and Eddie Howe is dancing down the touchline, knowing that he is leading Newcastle United to a semi-final thanks to a goal from Joel Linton. He's screaming with delight, so are the Newcastle supporters, and Newcastle are going through to the Carabao Cup semi-finals at the expense of Leicester City. Well, they've had a lot of players missing tonight, Leicester City.
I think they're the team to fear, Sam. I have to say it on bated breath. But they've got something going, have they, in semi-final?
Give them a bit of credit, Vicky. Come on.
I have done. Look, I have done. I think, you know, they're only going to get better. There's no hiding place from them, but I'll tell you what they have done. They put the North East back on the map, which is great. Not just for Newcastle, but for Sunderland and Middlesbrough as well.
Michael Carrick's done a good job at Middlesbrough, hasn't he?
He certainly
has. Good start there. Ball away by Martinez as Clare goes down under pressure, and the Charlton fans away to our right want a free kick they're not going to get. They've been super competitive in this game, and they're still coming forward. The ball picked up by Owen O'Connell. A lovely ball out to the far left, and Sessegnon now for Charlton with a chance to cross into the box. He drifts one way, then the other. A left-footed ball towards the far post. Heaton comes out and gets there ahead of Leeburn and will clear away. And that was a really good move, that, by Charlton Athletic.
Excellent play from Sessegnon in that full-back area. You know, his stronger foot's his right foot. Looked like he was going to cross it, did the little chop. Nice little floated ball into the area to cause Tom Heaton problems.
Eriksson drifting the ball out towards the far side. Back in field it goes, collected by Casemiro. Manchester United struggling to get away from Charlton. Wan-Bissaka gets beyond Sessegnon, then sets it back towards Elanga, who's again just a little bit over elaborate with his touches, and Jack Payne manages to nudge it clear. It's picked up by Eriksson, who's trying to dictate, trying to conduct from the middle of the park, trying to get things moving for Manchester United. He's been so creative over the course of the last few weeks of the season as Christian Eriksen. This man's been pretty productive as well. Rashford trying to drop deep to get involved himself. He's found himself in a situation where he hasn't seen much of the ball since coming on, and now it's Charlton who lead a charge upfield with a counter-attack. Leeburn trying to get the better of Martinez. Martinez has to dive in ahead at the feet of Leeburn before he can get there. He didn't dare get in a physical battle with Miles Leeburn, and it's out of play over on the far side and away for a throw in Charlton Athletic. 1-0.
It's another one of those challenges from Martinez, this time in his own penalty area. He has to time it right, and he does so. But Leeburn must have just been having a little look over his shoulder to think, if I can get the first touch here, I'm going to give the referee a decision to make.
Jack Payne for Charlton, who've got a bit of belief about them. Payne trying to get it back from Sessegnon. It's prodded away by Wan-Bissaka. The offside flag has gone up on this near side anyway, so it's not going to count. And it's going to be a free kick over on the far side. Rochdale now lead Bradford by 2-1 in the quarterfinals of the EFL Trophy. Accrington look like they're progressing on penalties past Lincoln. That's finished now. Wow, fantastic game there. Finished 2-2. They went through on penalties 3-2. Bolton 1-0 up against Portsmouth. Bristol Rovers 2-0 down to Plymouth, and Salford losing away at Cheltenham by 3-1 in the Carabao Cup, the quarter-final stage. Newcastle 2, Leicester City 0. Joe Linton and Dan Burn with the goals. And here it's 1-0 to Manchester United. Tomorrow night, Southampton against Manchester City, and Forest against Wolves. Both games live on the network. Oh, goalkeeper's come out. Grabbed hold of the ball, stood across the turf, trying to meet Garnacho at his feet. He's dragged the ball out of the penalty area. Did he escape with it in his hands? Well, they're counter-attacking at the other end, Charlton. The referee is allowed play on. This would be controversial. Fraser trying to get away. Malacia dives in, gives a free kick, yellow card. Well, that was an interesting passage of play, because I think they'll go back and have a look to see whether or not this was out of the... well, the television cameras will show us whether or not it was out of the penalty area, but there's no VAR tonight.
Well, if it's wonderful goalkeeping, Sam. If Maynard Brewer actually comes out from his line, because Garnacho's in, it's a 1v1, but he has to be brave and come off his line, and he does so, but he just leaves go of the ball before he actually leaves his own 18-yard area. We've seen a replay of it now.
Close. It's a handball, isn't it? Let's be honest about it.
It is, it's very close.
He's grabbed hold of it, he's got out of the penalty. Oh, it's close.
I think what he's tried to do, he's tried to hold on to the ball, because he can see Garnacho's feet are very, very close to him. Whether he's in or out, or whether the ball's still on the line before he leaves go of it, it's a big decision, isn't it, for the referee? He lets it play, but then in a split second, with a space of 3 or 4 seconds, Charlton, 3-on-3 situation again, and we talked about that free kick in the first half. They've got another one in pretty much a similar position. Two different players over the ball now. Now, you've been waiting for your chance. This is it. Don't let anybody down. Hit the target first and foremost.
I wonder. Manchester United 1, Charlton 0, 13 minutes on the clock, and Scott Fraser and Jack Payne are standing over the ball. Everybody in Manchester United red is back. It's Fraser who hits it right down the middle of the goal, and it's an easy stop for Tom Heaton, who drops on the ball and manages to clear away. But it's chances like that Manchester United are giving up, which just made the night a little bit less comfortable than probably it should have been.
Yeah, he certainly has. It's been really sloppy in the second half from Man United, and I'm sure Erik ten Hag is very, very frustrated, because he keeps talking about momentum. He keeps talking about improvement, evolving. Well, I've not seen no involvement tonight, Sam, and I think you probably agree with me, but if you're a Manchester City representative, I know there's going to be a lot of changes on Saturday. You see this performance from Manchester United and I just still don't know where they're at.
Dobson looking to release Lieber down the right channel. Across comes Martinez and he scoops it out on this near side. And under pressure again, Manchester United give away a throw deep inside their own territory. 78 on the clock. And the Addicts fans are the ones that are cheering away to our right-hand side because they know, they sense something might be happening here. Raksaki back to Fraser, swirls the ball out towards the left touchline. Sessegnon has picked it up. He's moved up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's trying to get into the box. He's twisting, he's turning, he's trying to get beyond Wan-Bissaka, who's stuck to his task well. Payne has got the better of Casemiro, produced a cross into the near post, and Heaton watched it all the way. Came collected, and now bowls the ball out into the path of Tyrell Malacia, who gallops up to the halfway line, sends it on to Garnacho. Garnacho infield to Malacia once more. Manchester United again. Just stop, go backwards rather than look to try and find that killer pass through to Scott McTominay, who'd made a decent run actually off the right side of the midfield. And it goes back into the midpoint of the Charlton half, and it remains 1-0 to Manchester United. Up to Ilanga, Eriksson, back wide again it goes to Maguire. Maguire infield, finding Casemiro. Casemiro on to Eriksson. Eriksson stopping, looking up, playing it into Casemiro. Full time down at the Memorial Stadium. We'll get there in just a second, but Maguire has just stepped through the middle of the park. He's running towards the edge of the area. Oh, he's robbed rather easily by a combination of Fraser and Sessegnon. And then he's decided that what he'll do to make up for that is just clothesline Steven Sessegnon. Let's go down to the Memorial Stadium and get full time from Ian Abrahams.
Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 2, both goals in the first half. The first 25 minutes, a Ben Waine header, and then 7 minutes later, Ryan Hardy thrashed home after getting onto a long ball. Plymouth were better were best all night here, and Bristol Rovers could do nothing about it in the end. It was Bristol Rovers 0, Plymouth Argyle 2.
And to the Uni Bowl and Steve Hoffesall.
Bolton Wanderers 1, Portsmouth 0. Wanderers through to the semi-finals of the EFL Trophy. Bod Farson's first half goal enough to take them past Portsmouth. Pompey's winless streak continues. For Bolton, they last won the trophy in 1989. They're now in the last 4, and they're also thriving in League One. Bolton 1, Portsmouth 0.
Harry Maguire booked for that challenge, and Sean Clare has just broken away down the right hand side to try and get the cross into the box. It's eluded everybody and gone out the other side. We've only got 9.5 minutes to go here, and that advantage that Manchester United were given by Anthony in the 21st minute is the only thing that separates the team in the Premier League's top 4 and the team middling in League One. Out on the left though is Garnacho, bursting into the box. He's overran it again. He's come back towards Eriksson, and the effort is blocked by Lucas Ness with a terrific block. Reacted superbly when it looked like it was going to be fortunately moved into the path of Eriksson and slammed into the goal, but Eriksson's effort was blocked by the former Met Police player, and it's out for a corner.
It looks so much better on the front foot, Manchester United on the counter-attack. Garnacho again, good play, getting to the byline. Christian Eriksen, he just tries to keep it down, just get his laces through it. Obviously cleared out for a corner, but it's end to end, and you can see what's happening in the final 10 minutes of this game, because if Charlton are brave enough, and it looks like they're certainly going to be that, Gene Holden making a couple more changes now, they've got to go for it. Try and get into that semi-final or get yourself back on level terms, and then you never know what might happen. But they've been excellent second half, they really have.
Raksaki and Steven Sessegnon both coming off to be replaced by Jayden Stockley, who was last season's top scorer. There's been a bit of interest in him. And Aaron Henry, ball sent into the box, comes out on the edge of the area for Rashford. Oh, it's gone all the way through to Martinez, who scoops it into the goal, but he's in an offside position when he converts that chance, and it won't be given, it'll be a free kick.
Right decision. I think Martinez just found himself in an offside position from the initial corner, but as it came back in, he just didn't get himself back on side. We're talking about those changes now, Sam, for Charlton. Why not? Time's running out. Manchester United look a little bit shaky, certainly defensively. You've got to give yourself a chance of getting back on level terms.
Yep, it's only 1-0, send the supporters from South East London. They know that Manchester United have been slightly disappointed. They know that their team played above their level tonight. It's been a couple of really good performances in a row. In fact, 3 good performances in a row from Dean Holden's men. And they displayed similar sort of qualities down at Portsmouth earlier in the year, the New Year's Day game, which they won by 3-1, and they've battled and harried here throughout the course of the 83 minutes that we've had. It's only 1-0. The ball has been played out towards the left-hand side, and Garnacho into the box, delivers the ball. It's a decent cross looking for McTominay. It's headed away by O'Connell, comes back out to Garnacho again, bit of space for him. He wanders down the left side, then cuts back in on his right foot, sets it up for Eriksson. What a save that is, down to his left by the goalkeeper Maynard Brewer. Reacted brilliantly, dropped to his left and turned it round the post, and it's out for a corner.
What a save. Better than the first one from Garnacho. It's fired through bodies from Eriksson there, keeps it low, and he has to get down to his left-hand side. Great wing play from Garnacho, just to pick out Eriksson, unmarked. Super strike, but an even better save.
Facundo Pellistri is coming on, making his debut for Manchester United. He comes on for Anthony Elanga. Interesting that he's one of those oddities in world football, that he's played at a World Cup before he played for Manchester United, even though he was already in their ranks. 21 years of age, full-time at Cheltenham. Get there in just a second, but we have a corner here which Eriksson will take over on the far side, and there's a clutch of players on the penalty spot trying to get away from their markers. It's aimed in towards the near post, punched away by Maynard Brewer, drops on the edge of the box, and Garnacho tries to get hold of it. It's cleared by Charlton up towards the halfway line, so we'll go off to Cheltenham and Ian Dante.
Cheltenham 3, Salford 1. Cheltenham through to the last 4 of the Football League Trophy for the first time in their history. Had to come from behind. Callum Hendry had Salford in front, but right on half-time they were level through the lively Ryan Broom, and then 2 goals just after the hour settled it. Circum got them 2-1 in front, and then set up Will Goodwin on debut to hammer home a third. They're 1 step away from Wembley, the Robins. Cheltenham 3, Salford 1.
Manchester United 2 steps away from Wembley if they win this game. A 2-legged semi-final to come if they can get past Charlton. Newcastle United similarly, they lead 2-0 at home against Leicester City at St James's Park, and Manchester United have a little bit of a issue to deal with as the full-time whistle finally goes in the game in League 2 at Ballyporee, where Bradford City have been beaten at home by Rochdale. There were 11 minutes added on in that game, and as a result of that, Rochdale put 3 points on the board. Jaden Stockley has just been accused of fouling Tyrell Malacia, who took a bit of a whack. The game has stopped as a result of that, and there are still 4.5 minutes to go here. And Manchester United certainly haven't had it all their own way, and I think Erik ten Hag will be a little bit disappointed when I speak to him afterwards, don't you?
Yeah, I agree with you, Sam. I think he'd be very frustrated because it's a tie that they should have seen. They should have seen that out a lot earlier, and I'm sure he's more frustrated having to make the changes and bring in his superstars, if you like, that he probably wanted to keep fresh and fit for the game against Manchester City.
Well, does it just highlight the lack of squad depth that Manchester United and Erik ten Hag have got?
Yeah, I think it does. I think, you can't make too many changes. Yes, you can get away with bringing 1 or 2 in because they'll obviously evolve and they'll get better with better players around them. But when you make 8 changes and how many substitutions he's made tonight to try and get that fluidity, I don't think Man United's squad is strong enough.
A bit of breaking news for you, coming from Alex Crook, our Talksport football correspondent. He says that West Ham United striker Mikel Antonio is on Wolves' list of January transfer targets. Wolves boss Julian Lopetegui wants to try and sign him as an option in the January transfer window to bolster their goal-shy attack. Here, Manchester United looking a little bit goal-shy. The ball picked up over on the far side, and it's taken on towards the right by Wan-Bissaka. Pellistri into the penalty area, tries to get it McTominay. He swivels, turns and shoots towards the far corner, and it's saved by the goalkeeper.
What about that for wing play from Pellistri? He's brought a bit of life to the right-hand side. Absolutely brilliant. A little give and go with Wan-Bissaka. Works it really well into the 18-yard area. Yes, he gives it McTominay, but he's on his back foot. He has to pivot with his left foot and get his strike away, not really knowing where the goal is, but needed that little bit of spark, and look at where it's come from.
Manchester United 1, Charlton Athletic 0, live on Talksport tonight. United edging towards the semi-final. And they certainly look as if they're in the market themselves for a new forward. Wout Weghorst has been linked. They're definitely pursuing it. And will they get it done in the next couple of days? Or will it be a little bit longer than that before we see him in Manchester United red? Martial has been very disappointing. Rashford's hardly had a kick since coming on tonight in that central position. And Charlton are still pressing for an equaliser. Fraser into the centre. Leeburn brings it down, tries to chop it towards his right foot, then pops it off to Jack Payne and just didn't have the quality to take it away. And Pellistri will get it clear for Manchester United. 2 minutes to go. It's Wan-Bissaka running it out from inside the 18-yard box, but Manchester United desperately trying to get over the line here. Garnacho in behind, runs at Clare, moves out towards the left-hand side, shoves it into Rashford. Rashford can't get hold of it. It's taken away by Innes, and it's cleared out up towards the halfway line. Is there a foul on Dobson? Referee says indeed there was. It's going to be a free kick just short of the centre circle for Charlton Athletic. Well, Dean Holden will hold his head up high when the full-time whistle goes. Away to our right, those 8,800 supporters that have travelled up from the southeast of London will be clapping and cheering a performance of real determination and tenacity. The League One side have stuck in this game, and many thought they would be brushed aside tonight. That has definitely not been the case. Casemiro fizzing the ball out to Pellistri, right side of the United attack. He plays it into Rashford. Rashford with a chance to finish it. Of course he does. Inevitable. Manchester United at home, and Marcus Rashford scores. It's the 8th home game in a row in which he has bagged. He's hardly been involved in the game since coming off the bench, but right now there isn't a hotter property at the front of Manchester United's attack. He just cannot stop scoring, and Manchester United have eventually finished off Charlton Athletic. Pellistri with the ball into the box, beautifully weighted into the path of Marcus Rashford, who poked it under the goalkeeper, and Charlton Athletic, who have been brilliant all night, have finally been dispatched. The semi-final beckons for United, 2-0.
Well, I have to say, I don't think Manchester United actually deserve to win this game 2-0. I've got to be completely honest with you. I think it's been so sloppy in the second half. But when you bring a bit of quality on, that's exactly what you get. A great ball from Casemiro, and out to the young man Pellistri, who's done ever so well since he came onto the field. Shout of a penalty there for Charlton. 2 shouts for a penalty for Charlton.
One handball, and Jayden Stockley hit it against Maguire, but his arms were tucked into the middle of his chest. And the other one was a trip on the edge of the penalty area. Martinez on Clare, it wasn't given. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the game. Live on Talksport. And Manchester United lead by 2-0 now. Marcus Rashford again.
It's 8-8, Sam, I think, isn't it, at home?
8-8 at home. And he's on a terrific run of form. 14 goals for the season now. And, well, terrific. Absolutely terrific. I mean, if you look back at the course of the last few weeks and months, he's scored for club and country a huge battalion of goals. I think he's scored 17 goals now for club and country over the course of the season, which is a brilliant return for a player who doesn't actually play as an out-and-out forward every single week, and has played as a bit part player for his country for the most part. Into injury time, and 2-0 the score. Manchester United finally have got the job done, but don't forget Charlton in this encounter when you're reviewing it, talking about it. It's job done, yes, for Manchester United. They've done that a couple of times over the course of the last few weeks. They've got over the line, but Charlton deserve huge credit. And so does Dean Holden, their manager.
Yeah, without a doubt. And they've certainly played their part in this game, Charlton. I actually think they've been the better side in the second half, albeit for a bit of quality in the final third.
Well, there's still 2 minutes of added time to go, and they have a free kick wide on this right-hand side. It's left by Fraser in towards the near post by Henry. It's cleared away by Manchester United, and then Eriksson flicks it over Henry's head, takes it down, looks up, there's options forward for him, and he's going to fizz that ball forward into a channel, looking for Casemiro, who's galloped up the field out towards the right hand side. Lucas Ness scurrying back. He's been brilliant tonight, quietly goes about his business superbly, the young centre half, and he's chopped it out and away for a throwing over on the far side. There's a lot of players in the wide of Charlton that should be proud of their performance tonight. They are going to come down to earth with a bit of a bump back to the Valley on Saturday when they take on Barnsley, and then they've got to go to the Posh.
Yeah, in 12 days, as Adrian mentioned, biggest crowd of the season expected at that game. But you look at the spine of their team, Sam, tonight. Maynard Brewer, Innes and Ness, the two centre-halves, Dobson, Blackett-Taylor. Some really top quality performances from those guys.
Well, Manchester United about to rack up a 9th straight home win. They are also about to go within 180 minutes of return to Wembley at the end of February. The 11 games unbeaten now for Ten Hag, who seems to have been allowed to shape the squad, get rid of Ronaldo, take charge of the Rashford situation when it threatened to blow up for him, drop Harry Maguire, the captain. He's been able to do that, but keep him on side enough to utilise him in matches like this. Rashford's made another burst through the centre. Casemiro has found him. Goalkeeper's out. Rashford has slammed it home. Brilliant finish from Marcus Rashford. He's come to the party right at the very end of the game. Manchester United have turned up the music right at the end of the game. Charlton blitzed in the last few seconds of the game. And the 3-0 scoreline maybe looks a little bit flattering on Erik Ten Hag's team, but nothing flatters Marcus Rashford right now. There may have been a suspicion of offside, and maybe if VAR had been here, that might have been ruled out for a very tiny offside. It would have been marginal, but it was a terrific ball from Casemiro to float it in behind the Charlton defence. One touch to set it, and one touch to smash it home. 3-0 to Manchester United.
Yeah, this is such a shame for Charlton. It really is, because the last couple of minutes they've been put to the sword. And as I mentioned before, when the second goal went in, they don't really deserve this. But they're just out on the feet. They've given absolutely everything tonight. They really have. But it just took that quality from Casemiro and two great finishes from Rashford.
Manchester United are into the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup for the third time in 4 seasons. Don't be fooled by the scoreline. It wasn't as easy as it looks. Marcus Rashford came off the bench to score 2 goals after the 90-minute mark to give the scoreline a healthier glow than maybe it deserved. But Erik Ten Hag's team are nudging closer and closer to lifting silverware for the first time since 2017, the year in which they won the Europa League and the Carabao Cup. But a lot of credit has to go to Dean Holden and Charlton Athletic, who knew coming here was always going to be a very, very tough job. But they brought a healthy contingent and go back with a healthy reputation. It's finished at Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Charlton 0.
As the Charlton fans still sing loud and proud, and the players go over to applaud them. And frankly, Mickey Gray, it's just cheating bringing on Marcus Rashford these days, isn't it?
And Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. I mean, he's just a goal machine now, Adrian, isn't he? And look, whether he scores his goal from the left or the right-hand side or through the middle for Manchester United, they won't care. He's in a vein of form at the moment that I don't think we've seen for a long time from Marcus Rashford, and he must be absolutely loving his football. Look, there was a big question whether he was offside for the third goal or not. When I saw the replay, he actually looked offside, but it's about being in the right place at the right time and showing the quality of what Marcus Rashford has done all season.
Brilliant from Marcus Rashford. The finishing is superb, but let's just pay a little tribute to Charlton. They're on the up under Dean Holden. A couple of wins, and they'll be looking to back that up at the weekend as well. But as they applaud their fans, and the fans give them the same back, and it's mutual appreciation, and it's deserved as well, I think. They stayed in the game. 3-0 is flattering to United, no question about that. They stayed in the game a long, long time when, after Anthony's early goal, it looked like it could be trouble for them.
Yeah, without a doubt. They come out in the second half, Adrian, and we just wanted a bit of quality from them in the final third. They got into some really healthy positions, but it was just that clinical finishing touch. They never had it. The free kick in the first half, you could go back to that. It's all about moments, isn't it? They had another one in the second half, which was hit the target. but it didn't really have too much on it, to be honest with you, and that was probably as close as they come to scoring a goal. But take nothing away from that performance from that League One side. The effort, the energy levels were absolutely outstanding, and I mentioned the spine of the team. I thought they were absolutely superb. A credit to the manager, credit to the players, and that support. That's the best I've seen at Old Trafford ever. 9,000, it's brilliant, and that's what makes the cup competitions the way they are.
And they've not stopped singing. They didn't have anything in terms of goals to shout about, but second half they really tried hard to make the breakthrough, but just couldn't do it. And they're still singing the Valley Floyd Road song to the tune of Mullinkin-Tyre. Dean Holden applauds those fans. He's gone around to every single player, the Charlton manager, shaking their hands. He can go back to being a Manchester United fan now. He'll certainly want them to win this Carabao Cup, no doubt about that, as they make their way up the other end of the pitch and down the tunnel with the noise of those Charlton fans ringing in their ears.